And we are live. Hello and welcome to Tampa, Florida, where today the Michigan Wolverines kick off their 2017 softball season with a showdown with the Blue Hens out of Delaware. My name is Morris Fabry alongside Jeremy Parks, and you are listening to WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan softball.
Morris, for lo, the winter is past. The rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land again. Quick tribute to Tigers great Ernie Harwell on the opening day of Michigan softball. It's our pleasure to be down here in sunny West Florida for the season opener for Michigan. Going to be a good one. Ready to go.
Absolutely. Not a cloud in the sky around us. About 67 degrees as we're ready for the first pitch. And speaking of the best there ever was, in the circle today, starting for the Wolverines, one of the best pitchers they've ever had at this program, it is Megan Betzer. She's come back for her senior season. She's made some adjustments. And the Delaware lineup she will be facing is as follows. Leading off and playing shortstop is Leanna Gerhardt. Hitting second, playing third base, Giovanna Kolifer. Hitting third, the first baseman, Maria Kondravi. Hitting fourth, the catcher, Anna Steinmetz. Hitting fifth in center field, Devin Steiner. Hitting sixth at second base, Alicia Delatorre. Hitting seventh in left field is Maddie Nuccio. Hitting eighth, the right fielder, Emily Neal. And hitting ninth, Allie Davis, the designated player. In the circle for Delaware is Kat Morris, but we'll get to that later as we are almost ready to get going. Strong wind whipping out toward right field behind us. Your umpires on today's game behind home plate is Kevin Jack. At first base is Mike Egglestone, and at third base, Charlie Sardo. Betzel rocks back and delivers the first pitch as a fastball that misses high for ball one.
Game time temperature 68 degrees here in Tampa, Florida. Winds are blowing just over 10 miles an hour out to right field as Megan Betzer starts off the season for the Wolverines.
Infield in on the lefty, Gerhardt at the corners, Montemurano and Falk shading several steps in front of the bag. The 1-0 pitch is a fastball that misses off the plate away for ball two.
Something Megan Betzer talked about in her preamble to the season at Media Day last week was her efforts to change the way that she pitches. She's trying to get that pitch count down, known as a prolific strikeout magnet. Might try and aim a little bit more on the ground ball side early here.
Betzel winds the 2-0 pitch. Fastball again misses high, maybe a bit inside too. The count moves quickly to 3-0, and at least as of right now, Betzel's on pace to never throw a strike this season.
And that bait pitch you'll see quite often, that rise ball coming up in the zone. Betzer uses that quite often in counts to try and throw hitters off. You think it's going to come waist level. Next thing you know, it's above the letters.
Betzer shakes off the sign, winds and delivers to her catcher Subcheck. The 3-0 pitch. Fastball splits the plate for a called strike one.
This is a young Delaware team, Morris. They returned just two seniors from last season. And a young coach as well. John Seneca's just in his second season with the Blue Hens, went 39-29 in his opening campaign last season, his first ever head coaching gig.
The 3-1 pitch on its way, big cut and a miss. The drop ball pulled the string on Gerhardt, and the count runs full on Delaware's leadoff hitter.
Didn't start off well in the count, but Betz has come back to bring it full. The game, first of all, not falling behind. Second of all, being able to crawl back like this.
Gerhardt, the lefty, awaits the payoff pitch on its way, swinging a tapper foul through her legs and to the screen on the right side behind home plate. An interesting little wrinkle of this stadium. The dimensions slightly different than what is offered at Alumni Field. Only 190 feet down either line, but 230 feet to dead center. And there's no hard backstop behind home plate. Instead, it's just a netting that surrounds and protects the fans. Betzer comes set. The seventh pitch of the at-bat on the way. Fastball misses off the plate away, and it's a leadoff walk for Leanna Gerhardt in the Delaware Blue Hens.
Didn't help that Megan Betzer started off that count 3-0. Did a good job to get it back full at 3-2. An immediate walk up to the circle for the catcher Alex Subcheck to start this one today. A couple quick words with her pitcher.
Can't blame her for coming out a little amped to start the season. Your infield for the Wolverines at first base, Tara Blanco. Second base, Faith Canfield, replacing Michigan superstar Sierra Romero, who graduated last season. At shortstop, Abby Ramirez, and at third base, Lindsay Montemurano, as expected. At the plate now, the righty Giovanna Kolifer. Infield stays in at the corners. Monty creeping forward down the third base line, the wind, the delivery. The The first pitch misses off the plate inside. It's a fastball, and Betza appears a bit frustrated with herself to start this game.
Colifer, one of the team captains for the Blue Hens, missed most of last season with an elbow injury, is returning for the first time in a long time back to action today. And it's going to be a tall order against one of the better pitchers in the nation in Megan Betza.
Betza comes set, rocks back and delivers the 1-0 pitch. Fastball misses high. Subcheck, the catcher, snaps out of her stance and stares down to first base. But the base runner, Gerhardt, not much of a threat to go.
You saw Gerhardt leave. Delaware did set a school record last season with 101 stolen bases, so this is a team that will try and steal bags. Alex Subcheck will be coming out of that stance relatively often throughout the day today.
Cola for the righty, stands tall, not much bend in the knees. The 2-0 pitch, breaking ball in there for a called strike one. Aggressive secondary lead down at first base from Gerhardt. The outfield for the Wolverines today, in left field starting is Courtney Richardson. In center field is Kelly Christner. And in right field, Natalie Peters. A couple departures in Sierra Lawrence and Kelsey Susella. So a lot of fans wondering how that would take shape. Well, that's how it looks today. Betza winds the 2-1. Fastball misses high. Runner goes. The throw down to second. The tag in time. Alex Subcheck guns down the stolen base. And that's your first out of the game.
Alex Subcheck is going to see a lot of time behind the plate for the Wolverines this season. Saw limited action, 29 appearances last season. Expect her to have the lion's share of the duties at the back end of the battery for the Wolverines. That is the kind of throw that she'll have to make all season long.
The pitch was called a ball. A bit of consternation from the third base coach. I think he wanted Colifer to swing to protect the runner. The count is 3-1 now. Betza winds and delivers. Pitch misses low for ball 4, so 2 walks to start the game for Betza. Fortunately for the Wolverines, only 1 base runner after Subcheck cut her down with an absolute dime of a throw. A little bit of a short hop, but Abby Ramirez, as smooth-handed as they come at the shortstop position, applied the tag.
Perhaps just a bit of a period of settling in for Megan Betza. It has been a long off-season for these Wolverines, getting back into action, just trying to find her zone here.
And that'll bring up the lefty, Maria Kondravi, the most feared hitter in this Blue Hens lineup. Takes the first pitch, a breaking ball that misses low. Trying to spot that at the knees on the outside corner was Betza, but she missed. Command's not exactly on point yet to start this game. 1-0 the count.
Kondravi's a career .380 hitter. Her power numbers have dipped. This is her junior season. Freshman year had 15 long balls. Last year, just 5. But she's really adapted in getting that ball inside the park, but still keeping that on-base percentage high.
The 1-0 pitch up and in, a check swing but from Kondravi, but she did not go around. So the count moves to 2-0. Betza behind on the first 3 hitters she has faced, and that's going to draw out arms specialist Jennifer Brundage for a conference in the circle.
It'll be Coach Brundage along with Alex Subcheck and Megan Betza having a little conversation. Betza doesn't seem too phased at this point. Early on, still able to throw out that first walk of the game. But with 2 balls in the count against Kondravi, a big power hitter, just trying to figure out a plan of attack to go up against her. I think the ultimate sign of Kondravi changing from more of a power slugger to kind of an everyday around-the-park hitter, that slugging percentage went down 200 points between freshman year and last year, but that on-base percentage kicked up almost 100 points. So Kondravi has really figured out how to continue to get on base and do an even better job of it, and not necessarily looking to hammer the thing over the fence every single chance she gets.
Kondravi, a lefty, the infield and outfield shaded straight away against her, not really shading her to pull. I guess you could call the infield at double play depth, with Canfield shaded a little more into the hole between first and second base. Kondravi, a square stance, feet wide apart, leaning slightly forward. The 2-0 pitch, fastball misses high for ball 3. And Betza still struggling to find the zone to start this one off.
Maybe trying to draw Kondravi off there with that high ball up and away. Kondravi cut down half as much on strikeouts last season, cut that down 50%, and drew her walks up just about 50% as well. So smarter at the plate in every facet.
Betza winds the 3-0 pitch. Fastball splits the plate for a called strike one. That one about thigh high. You know, she's been able to battle back. It's not like she's thrown 4-pitch walks and is way outside the zone. Maybe just adjusting slightly to home plate ump Kevin Jack's zone.
Delaware has the freeze on 3-0, so an easy comeback pitch right over the heart of the plate right there.
Betza tosses the ball around in her right hand. Now comes set. The 3-1 pitch on its way. Swing and a miss. A drop ball that ducked out of the zone. Kondravi looking foolish, and that's strike 3. The scoreboard apparently had it wrong. No, now Kondravi's headed back to the batter's box. I think she was.
It was just strike
off.
2.
That was strike 2. Yeah, I thought we had it right. Kondravi had it wrong. Maybe she's had enough of Betsa after only 2 strikes.
That's where Megan Betts is going to make her money, on those breaking balls, trying to fool hitters. That one low and away, and Kondravi with just an ugly cut trying to get after it.
So now the count is full. 1 out, runner on first. Betsa winds, delivers, swing and a tapper over to first. Blanco fields on a couple of hops, steps on the bag at first, turns to second, but Colifer already down there. It's a ground out to first base in the second out of the inning. But Colifer moves to scoring position, and that's going to set up Anna Steinmetz with an opportunity to give Delaware their first run of the game.
Smart play at first by Blanco there. It was going to be a close play at second on Colifer, taking the easy out. 2 in the inning with just a runner on second now.
Good that Betsa could battle back against such a feared hitter and get her to weakly tap over to first base after being up in the count 3-0. Steinmetz, the righty, awaits the first pitch from Betsa on its way. Fastball in there on the inside corner for a called strike just above the knees. Betsa ahead in the count for the first time in this game.
Gerhardt and Colifer are 2 of the team captains. Steinmetz makes the 3rd of that trifecta for Delaware.
Steinmetz, a relaxed stance. Square to the pitcher. Awaits the 0-1 pitch. Fastball. Called strike on the outside corner this time.
Steinmetz still a big power threat, 15 home runs last year. She was the CAA Conference Rookie of the Year, looking to build off of that strong freshman campaign. Had 44 ribbies over the course of the season.
0-2 the count. Betsa comes set, winds, and delivers the pitch on its way. Breaking ball. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Good frame job there by Subcheck. Looked like a close pitch, but Betsa works her way out of some early struggles. No damage done, and we'll head to the bottom of the first inning. Still scoreless here in
Tampa, Florida.
In Tampa, Florida.
The name of the stadium is USF Softball Stadium. It's not very...
They didn't really go outside the box with it.
Yeah, it's just the USF Softball Stadium. Doesn't show up on Google Maps, by the way. It was pretty difficult trying to explain to our Uber driver how to get here this morning. All there is an address, but it doesn't even plug into Google. But this is a beautiful facility here down in Tampa. It's right next to the USF baseball stadium across the way. Both are just fantastically manicured. Obviously, there's some tracks in the dirt right now, but prior to this game, we showed up at 8:30 this morning. We knew the games were going to be pushed back, but we got here early anyways, and that infield looking crisp.
And would it surprise you all to know that the only people we found there that early were Michigan fans who
all Michigan fans. Team,
yep, weren't quite up to date on the timing that has been adjusted due to Winter Storm Nico, which kept St. John's in New York, prevented them from traveling on time.
So just a quick update on the schedule changes for the Wolverines. This game, obviously, 11:30 this morning. Michigan will play Illinois State at 2 o'clock today. That game was originally scheduled for 9 a.m. on Sunday. Then tomorrow, the Biggin against number 4, the Florida Gators at 12:30. 5:30 tomorrow evening against the number 25 USF Gators, won in a walk-off in their opening game of the season last night against the Illinois State Redbirds. And then the closing game of the weekend will be at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning against the St. John's Red Storm, who were caught in a storm in New York this weekend.
Almost ironic. The lineups for the Wolverines today, leading off and playing right field, it's Natalie Peters. She'll be followed up by Abby Ramirez, the lefty shortstop. Hitting third, playing center field, Kelly Christner. Hitting fourth, the first baseman, Tara Blanco. Hitting fifth at designated player, Aiden Falk. Hitting sixth, the catcher, Alex Subcheck. Hitting seventh at third base, Lindsay Montemarano. Hitting eighth, the left fielder, Courtney Richardson. And batting ninth or second leadoff is Faith Canfield. The first pitch from Kat Morris to Natalie Peters is a fastball that ducks low and away out of the zone for ball 1.
Something we talked about before the game. We thought it was interesting that Natalie Peters is getting the leadoff spot today over Abby Ramirez, but nonetheless, back-to-back slap hitters to open up the lineup for Michigan. We'll see how that works in their favor.
The 0-1 pitch. Hard fastball misses low and away. The count moves to 2-0 on Peters. We haven't seen much out of Peters. Obviously, that outfield was so stacked last year, it'd be hard to get in the lineup. But obviously, Hutch has a lot of confidence in her, putting her in the leadoff spot on opening day. The 2-0 from Kat Morris, swinging a floater down the left field line. It drops just foul. A couple feet to the left of the third base line. Peters was thinking 2 out of the batter's box. Just kind of poked it over the infield. A Texas leaguer that didn't quite land. The count moves to 2-1 on Peters. The infield obviously shaded far in. The outfield close to the lines and also in on Natalie Peters.
Kat Morris is a true freshman pitcher out of Warsaw, Virginia. Not a lot of statistics on her.
The 2-1 swung on and ripped foul back to the screen on the third base side.
Nonetheless, Delaware's media guide would suggest that Morris will have a crucial spot in their rotation this year. They lost their two big starters in the rotation from last season. The only remaining piece, Jordan Cargill.
The 2-2 on its way, swinging a slow roller toward the left side, fielded by the shortstop Gerhardt, fires to first and retires Natalie Peters by a step.
Peters had some speed down that line, but that was a good play by Gerhardt and a strong throw over to first. The first out of the season for this Delaware defense.
Yeah, off the bat, I thought it might be hit slow enough that Peters would have a chance to beat it out, but credit Gerhardt, she stayed cool and composed, charged the ball, and made the out. That'll bring up Ramirez. The first pitch to her is swung on and tapped down the third base line. It's going to be fair. The throw down to first, not in time. Ramirez beats it out. Colifer did all she could, but that one just hit too softly. Ramirez on first to start off. The Wolverines attempted to rally with a leadoff infield single.
Well, that ankle looks good on Abby Ramirez off the bat. A lot of speed down that first base line, obviously coming off of the injury in the offseason, but looking good to open it up with a hit. 1-for-1 on the season for Gasolina Abby Ramirez.
That's going to bring up Kelly Christner. The first pitch from Morris, fastball right down the heart of the plate for a called strike one. And Christner's development is going to be one of the keys for this Wolverines team in this 2017 season.
One of those big senior influences, and the first place she can start here is right at the plate, leading the offense.
The 0-1 swung on and ripped just foul down the first base line. A hard grounder, Christner a bit out in front of it.
Diving attempt by Kondravi down that foul side. Good reflex, just a little bit past her to the foul side of first base.
And Christner looked a little displeased with herself, made a gesture of running her hands through the zone, perhaps trying to, not roll over on that one, not chop it into the dirt, but instead drive it. The count 0-2.
Looks like Morris is giving the Wolverines some decent pitches to hit over the plate, so look for Christner to maybe try and tee up on one here.
Morris winds the 0-2. Fastball misses high and outside. The count moves to 1-2. A throwaway pitch, just trying to change the eye levels on Christner.
Yep, 0-2 is plate protection mode, and that's a good eye by Christner there to let it fly by up and away.
Christner, of course, battled Sierra Romero for the team home run lead 2 years ago. The 1-2 on its way. Breaking ball started low and away and stayed there, just missed. The count moves to 2-2 on Christner.
Delaware pitching, no matter who it is in the circle, and this goes for any team that plays Michigan this weekend, if you get ahead in the count 0-2, you cannot fall behind against these Wolverines hitters. They will work your pitch count, and they will work you to death.
The 2-2 low and away. The runner goes. Ramirez slides into second base and beats the throw. It's a stolen base. The count now full on Kelly Christner.
Abby Ramirez showing some get on the base paths early. First stolen base of the season for the Wolverines has Ramirez in scoring position with just one out. Christner going to look for her first RBI of the year.
Ramirez only 5 for 8 stealing bases last year, but with more chances to get on base early in the lineup, I expect that we'll see a lot more of her running this season. The payoff pitch on its way, swinging a pop-up just to the right of third base. Colifer camps under it, calls for it, and makes the catch, and that'll be the second out of the inning for the Wolverines.
That one beat Christner on the inside, just got up off the top of the bat. A lot of English on it, but stayed right in the infield for an easy fly out. Not what she was looking for. Could have done more with that pitch, but the season is young, just the first at-bat of the year for the senior Kelly Christner.
Yeah, she didn't quite look comfortable there in her first at-bat. That's going to bring up Tara Blanco. A lot of weight on that back foot. The first pitch, a breaking ball, misses low for ball one. Blanco, go ahead.
Another one of those seniors expected to carry this Michigan team. Another RBI opportunity at the plate.
She hit .404 on the year last year. The 1-0. Breaking ball misses away. Morris wisely seems a bit timid to challenge the zone against Michigan's star hitter.
R. Morris not afraid to challenge his broadcasting skills.
That seems uncalled for, Jeremy.
Sounds a little third-person-ish when you say Morris.
A little bit. The 2-0 breaking ball misses low and away for ball 3. You think Blanco has the green light here?
On 3-0, I would say not unless it's the juiciest meatball you've seen coming down the aisle, but we'll see what she decides to do here. I'd expect her to lay off.
The outfield a couple steps back. Shading deep into the hole at second base is Alicia Delatorre. Morris steps off the mound, and looks like they're going to...
it's going to be an infraction, and it's going to give Tara Blanco the free bag, and it's going to send Ramirez to third.
So Cap Morris, the freshman, maybe flinching a little under the big lights against the number 6 ranked Michigan Wolverines. And that's going to set the table for Aiden Falk, the lefty designated player. Runners on first and third, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Still scoreless here at USF Softball Stadium. Morris winds the first pitch to Falk. Fastball misses high and outside for ball 1, a close pitch. But Falk lets it go for ball 1.
Falk's got a big pad on that ankle there, on the inside foot, or the outside foot, I should say.
Falk, a lot of weight on the back foot. Toward the back of the batter's box, she swings and drives one foul down the left field line. A pitch on the outer half, and that's something Aiden Falk has shown to be adept at. She has power to all fields. One thing that has plagued her, perhaps, in her past years for the Wolverines has been her eye at the plate. A little bit strikeout prone as far as Michigan hitters go. So we'll see if she's a little better at working the count. The Wolverines obviously relying on her to carry a bigger load in this 5 spot. The 1-1 on its way, swinging a line drive through the hole on the right side. The throw to second base is not in time. Tara Blanco had to dive to the dirt to get underneath that one and just beat out the force at second base. The run scores, and the Wolverines are on the board.
Well, that ball came fast off the bat of Aiden Falk. Tara Blanco had taken about 2 steps off of first base, and it was coming right at her skull. Ducked right down underneath that one. A little bit of a matrix move leads to the first run of the season for the Michigan Wolverines. Fantastic job by Tara Blanco on a heads-up play, and still managed to get up and get into second base in time on a shallow ball into right field.
You asked me, that's more like a heads-down play, Jeremy. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. That'll bring up Alex Subcheck. The first pitch from Morris. Fastball called, strike at the knees on the outside corner.
Subcheck hit right around 270 last season in limited appearances, but again, as we mentioned, she's going to have a much greater role in the Wolverines lineup this season. Has a little bit of power, a little bit of pop. Going to be trying to bring in a few more runs here.
The 0-1 skied into right field. Tracking back onto the warning track is Emily Neal, the right fielder, but she will camp under it and make the catch. The Wolverines strand a couple, but they get one on the board. We head to the top of the second inning. 1-0, the Wolverines lead here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you so much to those of you who have tuned in to follow this Wolverines team.
Just a quick reminder, as always, with all of our broadcasts, feel free to tweet at us at WCBN Sports. Leave comments on the YouTube video if that's the way you're watching as well. To everybody listening coast to coast, we appreciate the viewership. A quick reminder as well, this is the annual fundraiser week for WCBN, our parent station, 88.3 in Ann Arbor. If you feel like giving a donation, think of it like a subscription to WCBN Sports or WCBN Radio. They do survive solely on donations. It's the one time of year they do ask for money, so we'll give a quick shout out for that. 734-763-3500 is the number to call if you want to reach them in Ann Arbor to make a donation.
Anytime from today until not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, you can call and offer your support for us.
And as always, feel free to tune in if you are in the Ann Arbor Metro Detroit area on 88.3 FM Monday through Thursday from 6 to 6:30 for the Daily Sports Report, our weekly 4-day-a-week talk sports radio show. Megan Betza back in the circle now for the Wolverines. That's enough sponsorship talk for now, I think, Mo.
Oh, we got a lot to get into, and we'll get into it in later innings and in later games. For now, we'll talk game.
Commercial-free radio.
Close enough. So it'll be Devin Steiner followed by Alicia Delatorre and Maddie Nuccio for the Delaware Blue Hens as we get into this second inning. Betza struggled to find the zone to start off. We'll see if she can right the ship here.
Had some control issues in that first inning, was able to get out of it unscathed, but something to look for as we continue on here throughout the game. Can Megan Betza find that zone? When she can, she is unstoppable. When she can't, it can pile up a little bit quickly, so we'll see how she works with Subcheck here. Another dynamic that we haven't talked about a lot. This is a new battery look for the Wolverines. Hasn't pitched to Subcheck a lot in her career.
Betza winds the first pitch to Steiner. The righty is a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike one.
And Natton finds the zone.
Steiner, a junior righty hitter out of Wilmington, Delaware. Behind in the count, 0-1. She stands with her feet rather close together. Bat rests on her right shoulder. 45-degree angle to the dirt. The 0-1 pitch on the way. Swinging a pop-up foul over the screen, over the stands, possibly out of the stadium behind us. The count moves to 0-2, and Betza looks to be attacking the zone a little better.
In the shadow of the Sun Dome here on the University of South Florida campus.
The infield shaded straight away on Steiner. Betza winds. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Steiner down on strikes. Betza blew it by her. And that's the first strikeout of the day for the Michigan senior.
That's the start that Megan Betza was looking for here in the top of the second. As you said, blew that one right by. Tack up 1K on the board for the Wolverines and look for plenty more to come from Megan Betza. Numbers above 300 in both campaigns.
That'll bring up the second baseman, Alicia Delator. The first pitch on the way. Fastball misses way high and outside. Delator stands crouched low in the righty batter's box. A slightly open stance, a white ribbon in her hair. The Delaware Blue Hens rocking some deep blue shirts and socks and gray shorts. The Wolverines with white duds and maize and blue, mostly blue pants. Tried to think of a better word. The 1-0 pitch on its way. Hard breaking ball misses low. The count moves to 2-0 on Delator.
You know, I haven't loved all of the Nike uniforms that have come out for the Wolverines this season, but these softball uniforms are clean as can be. Big fan.
I want to know where I can get a visor.
Wonder if there's a roaming team store here this weekend.
The 2-0 big cut and a miss from Delator. Didn't know where that one was going. It was a drop ball that absolutely befuddled her. The count moves to 2-1. She Delator at that one. No.
Yeah,
we're not in midseason form.
No, save that.
Those will
for
have
now.
to wait. The 2-1. Betza winds, rocks back, and delivers. Swing and a miss. A fastball right by her. The count moves to 2-2. Nobody on, one out here in the top of the second. The Wolverines leading 1-0 over the Delaware Blue Hens.
Small bit of room to play here for Megan Betza. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe she tries to come back with a breaking ball. Try and fish around somewhere inside or outside. But the heater just as deadly.
Betza winds. The 2-2. Drop ball started high and stayed high. Betza gives a smile to her catcher subcheck, knows that she released that one a bit wrong. The count runs full on Delator.
And now it's the heater. Full count. Blow it right by for the second strikeout of the inning if she can.
Betza comes set. Holds the ball on her right side. Now rocks back. The 3-2 on its way. Swing and a miss. A breaking ball that ducked down below the hands of Delator. Couldn't find it, and that's 2 strikeouts to start the second inning for Megan Betza. You know, you went with the heater, JP, but she's got confidence to throw her breaking balls in any context.
Well, I think Delator had dialed that one up as well, but nothing doing.
And with 2 outs, nobody on, that's going to bring up the lefty, Maddie Nuccio. Stands almost straight up in that lefty batter's box. Bat nearly parallel to the ground. The first pitch. Fastball misses just a bit low. Her teammates encouraging her. Good spot. That was a very close pitch. But the count moves to 1-0 on Nuccio, who appears to be taking a slap hitting approach to things. Nuccio stands about even with home plate in that lefty batter's box. Betza rocks back and winds the 1-0. Swing and a miss. A half-hearted, half-cut by Nuccio at a breaking ball that dipped and ducked out of the zone. The count moves to 1-1.
Started her run up and then realized that ball was going to come way over to the outside, but maybe still catch part of that plate, drawing a weak swing.
Betza has impressed here in this second inning. Rocks back, the 1-1 on its way. Fastball called, strike on the outside corner.
I would say it took all of about 1 inning for Megan Betza to really find that zone. Is seeming to start firing on all cylinders now. 1 more strike to get her out of the top of the second.
Betza steps off, steps back, now steps back on the rubber. Comes set. The 1-2 pitch on its way. Swing and a miss. Megan Betza strikes out the side and will head to the bottom of the second with the Wolverines still leading 1-0 here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball.
Boy, it's the daytime, but Nuccio was looking at the stars on that one, swiped right above the head. That was a high rise ball for Megan Betza, fooled her as much as it could, and that'll be a quick end to the second inning for the Delaware Blue Hens. Michigan going to get back to work now in the bottom of the second, building off of a 1-0 lead in the opening game of the Wilson DeMarini tournament down here in Tampa, Florida.
I'll tell you, Megan Betts' breaking stuff is as filthy as they come. Her location, usually impeccable, but nothing gets me fired up quite as much as a rise ball. Just challenging a hitter, come up and try to match me here. And Nuccio, unfortunately for her, not able to come close.
Got an eye on a few Florida scouts sitting right behind home plate, taking some notes perhaps for later today for both Delaware and Michigan. They will play both teams. Michigan plays the number 4 Florida Gators tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. And they are here well ahead of their team. I believe they play after Michigan's second game of the day. Michigan plays Illinois State at 2 o'clock, followed up by Florida playing Illinois State shortly thereafter.
We might stick around there for a little bit.
I'd like to see this Florida team.
Leading off for the Wolverines to start the bottom of the second is Lindsay Montemarano. She's a player I think is going to take a huge step forward this season. Has had some sluggish starts the last 2 seasons, however, and swings right through the first pitch from Kat Morris. The count 0-1. Infield and outfield shaded straight away. The American flag out in right field has settled down a bit. It's still kept straight by a wind that has been consistently blowing out toward right field. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, misses low from Kat Morris, and the count moves to 1-1. Montemarano hit .323 last year, hit around .380 in Big Ten play, however. And even when she wasn't, getting the extra base hits that she's known for, always very adept at drawing walks. The 1-1 pitch is skied into right center field. Neal moving over, camps under it, and makes the catch. Had to call off her center fielder, Devin Steiner, as that one had some left to right tail off the bat of Montemarano. Solid contact, but just got under it a bit too much, and that's the first out of the inning. That's going to bring it for the Wolverines, the righty Courtney Richardson. Only 9 at-bats on the season last year. Obviously, the Michigan Wolverines need someone to step up in that third outfield spot. The first pitch swung on and lined over the glove of the second baseman, Delator, and into right field. It's a 1-out base hit for Courtney Richardson to start things off here in the second for the Wolverines.
Nice little start for Courtney Richardson, getting the call up in left field today for the Wolverines. One of the more experienced Wolverines that you might not have heard of very much last season is going to step into that outfield role on a more regular basis. Good way to start it.
Found a pitch up in the zone, didn't try to do too much with it, just poked it past the infield. That's going to bring up Faith Canfield. First pitch she sees is a breaking ball off the plate away for ball 1.
Canfield looking over to Coach Hutch down on the third base side in her usual perch, giving the signals.
Canfield showed a lot of pop in her role as a freshman, off-designated player last year. The 1-0 pitch, hard breaking ball, misses low for ball 2, and Canfield's ahead in the count. The leadoff hitter, Natalie Peters, awaits on deck.
Richardson taking a fairly healthy lead off the bag at first. Not an extreme threat to steal.
Morris looks in, gets the sign, and delivers. The 2-0 pitch is a fastball on the inside corner for a called strike 1. Looked like Canfield was going to be taking all the way unless she found something right in her happy zone.
Steinmetz was up and out of her crouch, just double checking, keeping Richardson honest down at first, but nothing doing.
2-1 rocketed fair down the right field line. That's when it caused trouble. Gets into the corner. Richardson rounds second, heads to third, and stops there. It's a 1-out single from Faith Canfield. Didn't quite have the wheels out of the box to get to second base, but that one was by Kondravi over at first base before she could even react. Solid contact from Faith Canfield, and the Wolverines have runners at the corners here with 1 out in the bottom of the second.
Canfield, Kondravi failed to field it down the first base line. That one just off of her glove. Would have been fair either way, but deflected over into foul territory.
We'll credit Emily Neal, the right fielder, for tracking that one down, preventing extra bases and preventing Richardson from scoring from first.
Yep, that was a good play. Most opportunities that you see like that, Canfield would have an easy bag at second, but a good job by Neal and Wright to keep her honest and keep her at first. Runners at the corners.
Infield in at the corners. The runner goes to second. It's a delayed steal. Canfield caught in a rundown. Chase back to first base. Now going down to second. The runner going from third. Slides in safely. It's Richardson. The double steal executed to perfection, and that one all set up by Faith Canfield. And her alertness drawing out that rundown until Richardson can sneak home.
Oh, that's uncomfortable. And that's another one on Kundravy. She knew it was going to happen. Should have just allowed Canfield to take second, keep them honest at home, but good base running there by Richardson, getting all the way around the bags for the second run of the game for the Wolverines.
Canfield down at second. Peters swung and missed, and now lines one into left field. That one's going to drop for a base hit. Canfield takes the turn at third, headed home. She's going to score. Peters to second on the throw. It was cut off, but Peters was thinking two out of the box. Really good contact from the sophomore. Puts the Wolverines up in this one 3-0, still only one out.
Yep, not a lot of power off of the slap, but didn't need it, just enough to muscle it over into left field. And that'll do for the Wolverines, already out to a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the second, just one out, and now Peters on second in scoring position. Wolverines softball is back, Mo.
Yeah, Natalie not going to let that rally peter out with her. That's going to bring up Abby Ramirez, the meat of the order, right behind her, and the Wolverines really looking to pour it on against a Blue Hens squad that has looked overmatched. And that double steal, it's something Carol Hutchins loves to employ with runners on first and third. Usually the wise move is just to let the Wolverines take second, but Delaware obviously didn't do their due diligence scouting this Wolverines squad. That'll bring up Abby Ramirez. She reached on an infield hit her first at-bat. She takes the first pitch, and it's a fastball above the knees on the outside corner for a called strike one from Kat Morris.
Ramirez was 1 for 1 in her first plate appearance, trying to get right back to that. Another run-scoring opportunity with Peters, the leadoff hitter, standing on second.
Morris gets the sign from Steinmetz, delivers. It's a slow roller toward the second baseman, Delaware. She underhand flips it to first base and gets Ramirez by a step and a half. Moving over to third on the play is Peters. Kelly Christner with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning.
Christner was the victim of a pitch that got her on the inside last time on an infield fly. Look for her to try and do a little bit more here with anything over the plate. Pretty much anything in play, not an out, would score Peters.
Morris winds the first pitch to Christner, swinging a grounder foul down the first baseline off the screen, just shy of Delaware's dugout. They've got that visitor's dugout down that first baseline. Action in the Delaware Blue Hens pen. Call it the Blue Pen. But we can't really identify who's out there. Looks to me like it is, well, yeah, I can't tell. The 1-0 pitch way high and outside, misses for ball one. The count moves to 1-1.
Haven't seen any pass balls yet. As you mentioned, one of the weird dynamics of this stadium is really no backstop, just netting. So a good job there by the battery to keep that one from headed to the backstop.
The 1-1 swing and a line drive. That one's going to drop into right field. It's a base hit for Kelly Christner. It's going to score Peters from third base. And Morris has been pounding the inside of the plate against Kelly Christner. Just fisted that one over the infield and into right field.
Just over the glove of Delaware. Not a whole lot she could do there as it squirts into right field. Another run for the Wolverines. It's 4-0 here in the bottom of the second. Like they didn't miss a beat from the start to this season.
That's going to bring up Tara Blanco. And yeah, Delaware already shaded basically on the outfield grass in that hole. Went as far back as she could. The first pitch to Blanco. Fastball misses off the plate outside. And I do believe it was Jordan Cargile, the junior pitcher, whom I think we expected to start this game, who is warming up in the pen. Now no longer warming up. I think she's ready to come in if Morris can't get through this inning. Gets the sign from Steinmetz, winds, and delivers the 1-0 to Blanco. Fastball called strike at the knees. And you got to imagine the intimidation is real out there for Kat Morris going up against one of the best teams in the country, albeit one that's lost a couple of its main stars, but Tara Blanco is as good a tough of a hitter to face as it gets. The 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball, misses low and away. The count moves to 2-1 on Tara Blanco. Hit .404 on the season last year. 12 home runs, 66 RBI. Not going to drive in any runs here unless she goes for extra bases. The 2-1 pitch, fastball misses high and away. The runner goes. The throw down to second base is in time. Kelly Christner retired, sliding feet first. Not the greatest jump, trying to get into scoring position so that Blanco could better score her. But that's going to do it for the Wolverines' threat. They tally 3 more in the bottom of the second. Leading 4-0, we head into the top of the third here on WCBN Sports broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you for those of you, again, who have tuned in.
Yeah, just a really bad jump by Christner there to end the inning. not the speediest runner on the base pads, and that was just a good throw down to second. Not much doing there, but the Wolverines still managed to tack on 3 more and take a 4-0 lead into the top of the third. And Megan Betza is at her most comfortable when she has that good run support behind her. Really picked it up in the top of the second, retired the side, and now coming back into the top of the third, looking to pick up where she left off.
And, you know, I talked to Kelly Christner at Michigan Media Day, really the only player that I did talk to, but
they only had the 4 seniors. So.
Yeah, and I asked her about whether or not Michigan would be a little less eager to run now that their 2 biggest base stealers in Sierra Romero and Sierra Lawrence have departed the program. And she said that she still thinks there's so much speed in this lineup and, you know, so many intelligent base runners that Hutch will not be afraid to be aggressive on the base paths. And we've seen it so far. You know, Ramirez swiped second, Christner got gunned down. But this Wolverines team not afraid to take the extra bases. You know, Canfield got into that rundown and forced Richardson home, I guess. Forced the Delaware's defense into a stressful situation, and they could not cope. Leading things off for Delaware here in the top of the third will be Emily Neal, the right fielder. She'll be followed up by Allie Davis, the designated player, and then the top of the lineup, and Leanna Gerhart will come up for the Blue Hens. Had a couple walks back in the first inning, but still yet to record a hit against Megan Betza. Neal, a slight frame lefty, stands tall in the lefty box. Slightly open stance, blue ribbon in her hair. The first pitch on its way. Check swing, pop-up foul behind home plate. Sprinting toward the screen were Subcheck and Montemurano, but they had to let that one fall against the screen harmlessly. The count now 0-1. Betza ahead in the count.
No chance of foul balls here. The netting goes all the way around and up the sides of the USF softball stadium, but that's okay. I got my 1 foul ball of my career at Penn State in the Big Ten tournament last season, so I'm happy.
The 0-1 to the slap hitting Neal fastball just misses. Don't know where that missed off the outside edge.
That was a close pitch, and it was held there for an extra beat by Subcheck to no avail.
The infield well in. Ramirez and Canfield, even with the baselines between first and second. Blanco and Monty about 10 steps in at either corner. The outfield in and shaded toward the slap side left field. The 1-1 pitch on its way. Swing and a miss, and that was an ugly one. Neal way out in front of the drop ball from Megan Betza. And, you know, you can just tell this Delaware Blue Hens team is not accustomed to seeing a pitcher with the stuff that Megan Betza has.
Picked in the preseason to finish 6th in the CAA, dominated by James Madison. But this is a team that seems a little bit young, but has a lot of talent there to grow.
The 1-2 bounced about 3 times on its way to home plate. Slipped out of the hands of Megan Betza.
Yeah, she'll laugh that one off. Maybe just a little bit of perspiration on the hand there. Letting that one go.
Rubbed it in the dirt. You know, maybe if Neal were more adept at cricket, she might have thought of offering it that one.
Can't let it hit the wickets.
Wisely let it go by. The count moves to 2-2. Nobody on, nobody out here in the top of the third. The pitch on the way. Breaking ball started high and stayed high. Betza maybe a bit uncomfortable for a brief spell. You know, rolling a ball to home plate will do that to you. The count moves full on Emily Neal, trying to lead off a Delaware Blue Hens rally here in the top of the third.
Yeah, bring it back with a good comebacker pitch here in a full count.
Betza gets the sign from Subcheck, taking her time. Now comes set. Twists to the right. Rocks back, delivers the full count pitch, half cut and a miss. Neal just absolutely overmatched there at the plate.
On fuego, Megan Betza wanted that heater, shook off Subcheck for the first 2 calls, and then brought it home with some serious heat for her 5th strikeout of the game. She got one for a full hand now.
4 batters in a row as well. I think 5 batters in a row dating back to the end of the first inning. That's going to bring up Allie Davis, another lefty, swings and misses out in front of the drop ball on the first pitch of the at-bat.
Boy, the start of this Delaware lineup seemed like they were pretty all right with how Megan Betza was pitching, but this back end of the order really not looking comfortable with her offerings.
She's found her rhythm. Davis, a lanky lefty, very open stance, her feet pointing down toward first base. Rests the bat on her left shoulder, awaits, swings right through the 0-1 pitch. It's a fastball up in the zone, and Davis cut under it. The count moves quickly to 0-2.
Yeah, you can't make back 4 runs on one swing. So Delaware just needs to take their time, try and put some balls in play, try and hit some of the gaps. There's a lot of space between second and short right now into center field. A lot of open green, but it's not going to come off one long ball.
This ball misses high and seems like a throwaway pitch for Megan Betza, doing a good job adjusting the eye levels as always. Davis doesn't offer at it. And, you know, JP, all I can say to that is that it's a lot easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Against the pitcher of Betza's quality.
Yeah, that's inherent. I would be striking out every single at-bat against Megan Betza.
The 1-2 on its way. Fastball just missed about belt high. Off the plate away. The count moves to 2-2.
Still a fun experiment I would like to make happen. I'd love to get in the batter's box against Megan and see what I could do. Probably nothing. Probably give up after about 4 pitches, but
I'd want the entire front side of my body to be padded up, because if she came high and tight, I don't know if I could get out of the way. Betza rocks back, comes set, the 2-2 on its way. Swing and a miss. Megan Betza setting down these Blue Hens.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. 6 strikeouts for Megan Betza now on the afternoon. We did an over-under on our podcast, East of the Rockies, this week, the Michigan Student Softball Podcast, and we thought maybe 340 was the over-under for Megan Betza's strikeouts. I went on the under. Morris, I think you took the over.
I took the over. Leanna Gerhardt, the leadoff hitter at the plate, now walked in her first plate appearance, takes the first pitch, a fastball on the inside corner. Looked like she had stepped into the pitch, but at the last second decided against it. And it almost hit her. You know, she's crowding the plate a bit.
Gerhardt took the season-opening walk for the Blue Hens and then was thrown out attempting to steal second base to start this game off at the top of the first.
Gerhardt, a wide stance, barely any bend in her knees, awaits the 0-1 pitch. It's a fastball. Same spot, maybe a little higher, and this one lifted out of the zone. The count moves to 1-1 on Gerhardt. Yeah, I took the over on Megan Betza's strikeouts, over 340 this year. I just think she's so ready to take on a huge role in this rotation. I think she'll be throwing a lot of innings, and she's going to be as dominant as ever. You can listen to the podcast if you want the full explanation. The 1-1, a bunt, past Monty at third. Betza fields, fires to first, in the dirt, not in time. Good scoop from Canfield to stop that low throw, covering from second base.
It wasn't a great bunt, but I think it fooled everybody.
Oh, that was a fantastic bunt. I disagree, Jeremy.
It was a little fast. It was pretty fast.
Yeah, she pushed it by Montemurano, and I think that was the design. As soon as Monty sees her square to bunt, she's charging in. And if Monty gets that one, it's an out at first base.
I think Monty was a bit thrown.
I think it was an excellently placed bunt by Gerhardt, and it's the first hit of the game for the Blue Hens. That's going to bring up Giovanna Colifer. The righty awaits the first pitch from Betza, fastball off the plate away. The count 1-0. Colifer also walked in her first plate appearance.
That was a good signal from Coach John Seneca down at first base on that bunt. I'm still on that. That was great.
Yeah, you know, she took the first 2 pitches. I was totally blown away that she would even try it, but, you know, got to get on base somehow. The 1-0 on its way, swing and a miss. A drop ball in under the hands. Colifer didn't have a chance. And I'll tell you, you know, sometimes a batter swings and misses, and it kind of seems like they're on it, but with these drop balls from Megan Betza, they just look foolish.
Well, Betza talked in media day about trying to change her pitching style and lowering her pitch count. Definitely doesn't seem the case so far, already tallying up 6 strikeouts and not a lot of grounders to be had. I think at the end of the day, Megan Betza is a strikeout pitcher, and that's the way she's going to stay. It's just a matter of keeping rested down the end of this season, a long season leading into, you know, the late ends of May and June, hopefully in Oklahoma City.
The 1-1 on its way, fastball up and away, gets past the glove of Alex Subcheck into the backstop. Gerhardt down to second base.
That net back there really does just stop the ball dead the second that it gets to the backstop. So maybe a little bit of a help for catchers in that they don't have to chase an oddly bouncing wild pitch if they do come their way.
And I'd say that one's more likely to go down as a passed ball. It did ricochet off Subcheck's glove. I think that's one that she needs to have. The 2-1 pitch on its way. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. The count moves to 2-2.
That's the best pitch of the inning for Megan Betza right there. Painting it like Picasso on the edges. Brings it back 2-2.
So now Gerhardt with plenty of speed down at second base.
You know, I need one more strike so I can get my good line in here.
Are you going with you, Betsa? Because that's
Nope.
pretty played out.
Nope.
Okay, thank goodness.
I say it every time that she hits 7 strikeouts.
Huh, well, I'll have to wait for it then. The count 2-2, 2 outs, runner on second. Betsa gets the sign, winds, and delivers. A bunt in front of home plate, fielded by Subcheck, fires down to first, and retires Giovanna Colifer. Good job by Subcheck springing into action and ending the inning for the Blue Hens, trying to play small ball but getting outdone by a Wolverines defense that wasn't prepared.
Headed into the bottom of the third, Michigan maintaining a 4-0 lead. Listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball. For all of you tuning in coast to coast, we thank you. As always, feel free to interact with us on Twitter at WCBN Sports. Give us a follow. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll be here all weekend calling all 5 of Michigan's games. So for those of you that are hearing us for the first time, we hope you enjoy, and we hope you to continue to enjoy over the course of the weekend and in the following weeks. We will be in Raleigh again next weekend. We'll have a 2-man crew of Leo Blavin and Dalton Pataki there for the ACC Big Ten Challenge. 2 games against North Carolina State, 2 games against Notre Dame. Should be a good time for them.
Got a decent crowd here for the first game of the day. Obviously, 2 teams that aren't local. Michigan fans have turned out in pretty full force down the third base line.
And what do you expect?
Oh, of course.
In force.
Michigan has alumni around the world. The bleachers out beyond the left field fence, understandably not that full. There's one
It is
man,
still a Friday morning.
one man sitting in the top row. Yeah, I expect the big crowds to come in tomorrow for Michigan's showdown with the Florida teams. Those will be pretty impressive. There are some blue shirts scattered in the crowd, but either a high school or a junior college team has been called upon to fill in on that right side.
Taking in some really good softball here. Michigan looking to get back to work with a 4-0 lead. And who better to start it off than Tara Blanco at the plate?
Blanco got a clean slate after Kelly Krishner was caught stealing to end last inning. The first pitch from Morris, a breaking ball, tucks in there on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Blanco reached on an infraction from Morris in her first at-bat, was probably on her way to a walk. It was scored as a walk anyway. The 0-1 on its way, breaking ball in there for a called strike. Blanco not expecting it. It was on the outside corner, and the count quickly moves to 0-2.
Now into plate protection mode for Tara Blanco. Anything close, she'll have to take a cut at.
But, I think Blanco has more power than any hitter I've seen with 2 strikes in the count. She is good at protecting the plate and drawing walks. The 0-2 misses low and in the dirt for ball 1, but she doesn't shorten up the swing that much. She's just got so much latent power waiting to burst through.
Not going to pull Leanna Gerhardt and try and bunt here on the 0-2 count or the 2-strike count for that matter.
Probably not, but she could get away with it. The infield is showing her a lot of respect. The shortstop, Gerhardt, and Delatorre, the second baseman, near the grass. The 1-2 on its way. Hard breaking ball misses high and away for ball 2.
And this is a problem that Morris had back throughout the first inning and into the second, was getting ahead of hitters in the count, going up 0-2, 1-2, and then slowly falling behind 2-2 and beyond. And this Wolverines team will make you pay if you don't take advantage of the 0-2 counts.
The 2-2 swing and a foul ball golfed above the screen and out of play into one of the trees outside the complex here. That pitch near the dirt, definitely below the knees, but Blanco, as you said, in plate protection mode, spoiling anything close.
And doing a good job of it, gradually raising the pitch count for Morris as well.
The 2-2 yet again, fastball misses high. Blanco twists out of the way, and the count runs full on Tara Blanco.
Tara Blanco has seasons of experience behind her to realize the second that ball is released, even the bit of a hair high, it's going to go up above her head. Wind is picking up now, blowing directly from center field to right field.
The full count pitch misses outside, and Blanco down to first base with a leadoff walk. 0-2 was the count, but Blanco patient at the plate.
Perhaps a bit of inexperience from the true freshman pitcher, but at that point, you still cannot be losing 0-2 counts against a team as good as Michigan.
And it'll be Nikki Wald pinch running for Blanco as Aiden Falk steps up to the plate. Falk, a long fly out to right field in her first at-bat. And, I think if there's any dark horse candidate for the home run lead on this team, I think Krishner and Tara Blanco are probably the 2 favorites to
You're high on Aiden Falk here.
Lead the power charge, but yeah, I think Aiden Falk is really going to explode onto the scene this year as a designated player and a first baseman for the Wolverines.
Well, here's a big opportunity. No outs. Got a runner on first. Clear slate of the inning for Aiden Falk.
Corner's playing close to the line. The first pitch misses low and away to the lefty Falk. Falk actually had an RBI single in her last at-bat. I was mistaken. I think it was Montemurano who flied out. The 1-0 count. Morris looks in, delivers, swinging a hard ground ball wide of first base and foul. Kondravi dove for it, but it didn't extend fully because she knew where she was and knew that one was going foul from the jump.
Keep getting worked on that first base side is Kondravi. That's about the 4th time she's had to go out near that foul line.
Yeah, Michigan's been peppering her there. A lot of shots to the right side off of Kat Morris. Maybe that has something to do with where she's pounding the zone, and maybe it's just a fluke.
Aiden Falk can pull it that way. She can also push it out to left field.
The 1-1 fastball misses low and away. A close pitch from Kat Morris. Didn't get the benefit of the doubt, and the count moves to 2-1 on Aiden Falk. No outs. Bottom of the 3rd, Nikki Wald on first base. Michigan with a 4-0 lead, looking to add to it.
Gerhardt leaving a decent gap between second and third, or short and third, I should say.
The 2-1 on its way, swinging a fly ball straight away center field. Tracking back is the center fielder Steiner, and she makes the catch just over toward the right field side of center field. It's a fly out for the first out of the inning for Aiden Falk.
That's a bit closer to a long ball at Alumni. As you said, 230 to dead center here at the University of South Florida, 220 back in the home confines of Alumni Field in Ann Arbor.
And that's going to bring up Alex Subcheck. Subcheck flied out to right field in her last at-bat. Morris gets the sign, winds, and delivers. Subcheck takes. And it's a fastball that maybe missed a bit high there for ball 1, a close pitch. Good eye there from Subcheck, who has obviously the license to take until there are 2 strikes.
Steinmetz held it there for an extra beat, just couldn't do anything with it.
Morris taking her time, looks and gets the sign and delivers. The 1-0 pitch is a fastball on the inside corner, thigh high for a called strike 1.
Looking over to Coach Carol Hutchins down the third base side for her call.
Infield at double play depth, the outfield deep and straight away on Alex Subcheck. The 1-1 on its way, swinging a line drive. That one, a diving stop over at short, the flip down to second, not in time. Gerhardt did all she could. It was a shot off the end of the bat of Subcheck into a tough spot for the infield, shaded as they were. Gerhardt, a diving short hop stab, got up to one knee and fired it over to second base. But Nikki Wald, the pinch runner, got there a split second too quick.
Yep, not for lack of trying, and now runners on first and second with just 1 out in the inning. The spark plug herself, Lindsay Montemurano, stepping to the plate. Another one of the big senior influence members of this Michigan squad.
The first pitch to Monty, fastball, misses low. Steinmetz tried to pull it up into the zone, couldn't do so. Runners at first and second, 1 out for Montemurano, who flied out to right field in her last at-bat.
She's never boasted the fancy stat line of some of her teammates, but Monty is there to start every rally, take walks when she needs to, advance runners when she needs to. Real team player.
The 1-0 fastball misses high. Not a huge strike zone, as Monty, one of the shorter members of the team. And, she crouches low at the plate. She is fully willing to take advantage of that, has a great batting eye.
Be difficult for Morris to try and find the strike zone as it was, and a little bit more difficult with the smaller zone.
2-0 grounded over to short. The throw is to third, and they retire Nikki Wald on the fielder's choice. 2 outs now. Gerhardt opted to go to third instead of trying to, maybe go for a ground ball, 6-4-3 double play. Probably a wise choice. Monty's got some jets going down that first base line. Instead, they cut down the lead runner.
Yep, that was a smart play right there.
That's going to bring up Courtney Richardson. Richardson, a Texas League single in her last at-bat.
Made it all the way around the bags for a run. Was the beneficiary of the double steal.
2 on, 2 out for the Wolverines as the first pitch from Kat Morris is a hard breaking ball that ducks low for ball 1. it's a little quieter here than we'd normally be accustomed to. Delaware and Michigan not, up and cheering the way we sometimes see in bigger games. Richardson, a big cut at the 1-0 pitch, barely got a piece of it and fouled it off the screen on the right side.
Well, Delaware and Michigan not necessarily close geographically to Tampa, Florida, so a bit more difficult in terms of travel, but there are definitely a lot of Snowbird Michigan fans down here today.
Morris looks in, gets the sign. The 1-1 on its way. Swinging a pop-up, shallow left field. That one's going to be trouble. It drops for a base hit. Rounding third and headed home is Alex Subcheck, and the Wolverines will add to their 4-run lead. Now a 5-run lead. Richardson, 2 for 2, drives in the run.
Have a little day there, Courtney Richardson. Yet another one for her. As we said, somebody that maybe even Wolverine regular fans might not recognize as much of some of the other players in the lineup, but doing her fair share here early today. Back on base again with a rib in her pocket. Michigan now up 5-0 on the Delaware Blue Hens.
The Wolverines media guide listed the probable starters in left field as Richardson/Hoganrod, referring to Michigan freshman Haley Hoganrod. So I don't know how certain they were up until game time, but Richardson earning her spot. Now a slow roller, first pitch from Canfield up the middle. Gerhart Fields flips Delatorre on second for the force, and that'll do it for the Wolverines rally in the bottom of the third. They add another on the strength of a Courtney Richardson blooper RBI single. They lead 5-0, headed to the top of the fourth here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. And while we have the time, I think now would be a good time to fully advertise our softball podcast. It is called East of the Rockies. You can find links to it on our Twitter at WCBN Sports. And it's a podcast done by me, Jeremy, and our fellow softball fanatic Kevin Klein, who does a lot of work with Big Ten Student U and their broadcasts of Michigan softball games. Both episodes that we've got out so far have run about 40-45 minutes or so. We've done mostly season preview work. It's a lot of fun to record, and hopefully we'll be able to churn out a lot of good content for you throughout the season.
A lot of good content already, too. Did a really good preview of the tournament so far today. That episode dropped on Thursday. It's a lot of fun, and I think we enjoy it a lot. So if you enjoy the calls that you're hearing right now, feel free to subscribe on iTunes or listen on SoundCloud. Available now.
If you like it, feel free to leave a review. If you don't like it, forget I said that.
I feel like we're really becoming commercial today. I don't like all the advertisements that we've been doing.
We've got some other podcasts with WCBN. If you follow Leo Blavin at Leo_Blavin, he's got a couple of good ones out there. One Bachelor podcast called Thorns in the Rose. He also does it was a weekly show, now more bi-weekly, called the Leo Blavin Show, which is kind of a sports show in name only, but he's a lot of fun to listen to, and his podcasts are great too. Riding the Pine with Dalton Pataki and the Benchwarmers.
On hiatus.
It was more consistent, but every time Dalton puts something out, the self-dubbed voice of the people, the Polish prince of the pod, he's got some good stuff. I'd recommend checking him out. We've also got with WCBN, The Big Yang Theory, Will Yang's podcast, which is also kind of on hiatus. We haven't put out a lot of podcasts consistently lately, except for...
But the blog on the website, if you're listening on WCBNsports.org, that blog has been up and running and at peak performance these last couple of weeks. We've got about 6 or 7 blogs dropping every week, so keep an eye out for those as well.
Maria Kondravi, the lefty, leading it off for the Blue Hens here in the top of the fourth. The first pitch, a fastball up and in, bit of chin music. Megan Betza establishing the inside part of the plate, but it misses for ball one.
Kondravi could feel that one whistle up against the face there. Megan Betza tempting her up high, but not biting.
Betza gets the sign from Subcheck. She winds the 1-0 pitch on its way. Fastball, that one at the knees for a called strike one. Popped the glove of Alex Subcheck right where she set up. The count moves to 1-1.
If Delaware is to mount a comeback here, down 5 runs to the Wolverines in the top of the fourth, it's got to start with Kondravi, the biggest hitter in the lineup. Has to find herself on base or somehow bringing runs in if Delaware is to make any kind of a comeback.
The 1-1 pitch, a drop ball. Kondravi swings and fouls one off the ground and off herself. And not a great swing, but that might be the best swing I've seen against a Megan Betza drop ball in this game. She made contact. The count 1 and 2 on the number 3 hitter.
Not much more to add on that.
Nobody on, nobody out here in the top of the fourth. Betza gets her sign, winds, and delivers. Drop ball, swinging a hard ground ball through the hole on the right side. Best contact we've seen from the Blue Hens today. And perhaps I spoke too soon because Condravy lined that breaking ball up and rocketed it past Canfield into right field for a base hit.
Well, that's her biggest role in that offensive lineup. She caught that one right on the laces and hit it right out into right field. Past Canfield, nothing she could do about it. That one was hit with a lot of speed.
Brief little powwow in the circle as Delaware is going to put in a pinch runner down there at first base. As soon as we see her number, we will report to you on who it is.
Scoreboard is mistakenly giving Delaware 1 run in the inning. They have just taken that off, but that was their second hit of the game to go along with the bunt single from Gerhardt.
The pinch runner appears to be number 28, Jess Bishop, a freshman out of East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. That'll bring up Anna Steinmetz with 1 on, nobody out. The first pitch, a fastball, misses off the plate away. And, Betza in her little conference with Subcheck and Blanco in good spirits. And this team really has been all smiles throughout the week leading up to this game, the weeks leading up to this game. And no reason to lose those good spirits so far today. Betza winds the 1-0 on its way, swinging a foul back to the screen. Betza turning up the heat a little bit. That one in on the hands of Steinmetz, couldn't quite barrel it up.
Worth noting again with the pinch runner on first base, a potential stealing threat. Delaware was 15th in the country in stolen bases last year. They had 101, so Subcheck is coming out of that stance relatively often to keep them honest.
The 1-1 on its way from Blanco. Fastball misses off the plate inside, about knee high. The count moves to 2-1 on the righty Steinmetz.
The one attempted steal of the game thrown out by Subcheck at second. Gerhardt was the victim of the throw out.
Steinmetz tall with a powerful frame, rests the bat on her right shoulder. A wide square stance to Betza. Holds the bat just above her right shoulder, awaits the 2-1 pitch, a called strike at the knees on the inside half of the plate. The count moves to 2-2. And the velocity tracker on the board shows it as 22 miles per hour. I can almost guarantee that that's not the case.
Might have been the speed that Subcheck got it back to Betza at, but not the pitch itself.
Even that is really slow. The 2-2 line drive caught by Canfield at second base. She was positioned nearly perfectly. Took a couple of steps back toward the outfield grass, little shuffle steps. But an easy out on decent contact for the Blue Hens. That's going to bring up Devin Steiner. The righty center fielder struck out in her first at-bat for Delaware. The runner on first base again is Jess Bishop, has taken some aggressive leads. The first pitch on its way to Steiner. Fastball low and in, gets away from the catcher Subcheck, and Bishop down to second base on the passed ball. The one thing Coach Carol Hutchins said she expected out of the catcher position is that they would catch the ball, really stressing catcher defense, and I think that might be part of why Alex Subcheck's playing time declined. The Wolverines never really found a consistent answer defensively at that catcher spot. So hopefully these are just little blips that'll be sorted out. The 1-0 on its way, breaking ball misses in the dirt, low and in. Subcheck, to her credit, scooped that one very easily.
I was going to say, good snag right there. And I think the reason that you're seeing Subcheck starting over the likes of a Katie Alexander is maybe that formative defense that's coming in a little bit stronger, giving it a little bit more time to develop.
She's got a real nice bat, too.
That does help as well.
2-0 the count. Betza winds, delivers to Devin Steiner, and it's a fastball that just misses. Looked like it was in under the hands for a called strike, but not going up with the right hand is home plate up Kevin Jack, and it's a 3-0 count with a runner on second. This probably the biggest Blue Hens threat of the day.
Betza actually looked over to Carol Hutchins in the dugout maybe to get a sign from her.
Betza taking her time, winds, delivers the 3-0 pitch, fastball in there on the inside corner for a called strike.
That's a good call. Try and beat her back on the inside. Steiner not going to chase after that on a 3-0 count, especially with Delaware threatening to score their first run of the game on second base.
Canfield shaded deep toward the hole at her second base spot. Straightaway defense on the left side and everywhere else. The 3-1 pitch, a drop ball, swing and a miss. Steiner now at a full count. Subcheck picked it up and tagged Steiner as though it were a swinging strike 3. Not the first time we've seen someone forget where they were in the count today.
Just making sure. Just doing a little due diligence on that one, did Alex Subcheck.
The count now full. Betza comes set. Winds the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. She went with the drop ball again. And I think that one was going to be a strike regardless of whether or not Steiner offered at it.
And she's got one for every day of the week for you, Morris. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 7 strikeouts for Megan Betza on the afternoon.
You know, I was really waiting. I was anticipating your line, what you would say when she got 7 strikeouts. It wasn't worth the anticipation that I'd built up in my head.
You know what? That's your opinion, man.
First pitch, a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike from Betza to Alicia Delator. Delator also struck out in her first at-bat.
That'd be a good Twitter interaction. If you've got a preferred strike call that you'd like to hear, tweet it at WCBN Sports. We'll see if we can work it in there.
0-1 the count. Betza winds, delivers to Delator. It's a hard breaking ball that misses low for ball 1. Delator, the righty, on pace to strike out in every at-bat this season. We're going to have a lot of fun with small sample sizes, Jeremy. I assure you of that.
The bat not quite Delator'd yet.
Yeah,
Trying to put a little charge in it.
That was not bad. The 1-1. Fastball misses low and inside. Betza pouring the heat on here in this 4th inning, trying to quell a Blue Hens rally before it really even starts. The infield and outfield shaded straight away against the righty Delator, standing toward the back of the batter's box. Weight about 60-40 toward her back foot, now leans farther back as she awaits the offering from Betza. She rocks back, delivers, swinging a fly ball down the left field line, foul, and toward the Michigan bullpen. All over that pitch up in the zone from Megan Betza, but perhaps a little too eager.
Not quite straightened out there. So
when that ball is heading up about chest high, sometimes it just looks as big as a beach ball, and that can be deceiving. And that's why pitchers go up there time after time. 2-2, 2 outs, runner on second. 2's across the board. Betza winds, delivers. Fastball misses off the plate away, maybe a little high. At 67 miles per hour from Megan Betza, according to the scoreboard, the count moves full. Betza usually sitting in that 64, 63 mile an hour range with her fastball, at least if you believe ESPN's radars during the College World Series last year. The full count pitch on its way, swinging a tap foul at home plate, a breaking ball almost ducked under the bat of Delator, but these Blue Hens hitters adjusting at least a little bit the second time through the lineup.
Betza might have to get a little bit more creative here, full count. I don't mind the call of the breaking ball there, trying to shift the eye level, something she does oh so well. Already 7 strikeouts on the day. One more strike will get her to 8.
Subcheck and Betza on the same page, working quickly. Betza winds. The 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Delator falls to her knees. The breaking ball absolutely pulled the string, and Betza's got 8 Ks on the day. That'll do it for the Blue Hens in the top of the 4th. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Michigan has scored at least a run in every inning. They lead 5-0 here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you to those of you who have tuned in. A reminder, I am Morris Fabry. Alongside me, Jeremy Parks, and we are delighted to be down here in sunny Tampa, Florida.
You might not be able to hear it over the speaker system here at University of South Florida softball stadium, but little Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline, for the regular listeners to our broadcast, they know it's a special moment for Morris and myself. The first Sweet Caroline of the season. Yeah, always a special moment.
You know, they were actually playing it earlier on before the game. We were sitting down in the sun, as it is a little chilly up here in the press box. We're covered completely by the pavilion. They played a couple notes of it and then stopped it, switched to a 21 Pilots song, and I was really irritated. Jeremy dancing beside me. You know he wants to chime in and start singing.
We have too many listeners that would be turned off by that today. I mean, if we've got just the regulars that are diehards tuning in because, you know, they want to.
Long
not
story
because
short,
we're the only coverage.
We're selling out is what you're saying.
Exactly. We're really selling out today to the audience. The audience that we're very appreciative for tuning in. But I don't think anybody outside of a few regulars really want to hear us duet Sweet Caroline.
And we've gotten plenty of love over Twitter today. We're reading all of them. We'll probably interact between games or something like that. But just so you know, we're seeing the love, and we really do appreciate it. Natalie Peters leading things off for the Wolverines.
Pretty sizable Go Blue chant you might be able to hear over the natural mics now. Really, the first big crowd interaction we've heard today.
Peters swings and pokes it through the hole on the left side. That's her second hit of the day. And she is on first to lead things off for the Wolverines.
Hey, Natalie Peters, what do you say? Leading it off with a little single.
The drawn-in infield could not react. Any solid contact toward the hole is going to be a base hit for someone with the speed of Natalie Peters.
That back-to-back slap combo has not been bad so far this morning. Peters and Ramirez looking pretty good atop the order.
Ramirez 1 for 2 with an infield single today. Takes the first pitch as it ducks low and away for ball 1. Still haven't seen much power out of either team so far. Seems like the offensive approach has more been to square up the ball and just line it where you can.
Well, when you lose your Rom bombs and Sierra Lawrence long shots, it gets a little bit more small bally.
A sac bunt from Ramirez. The catcher, Steinmetz, out to field, fires to first, and gets Ramirez by a step down to second base. Goes Natalie Peters, and that ball, a lot of backspin on it, absolutely died about 5 feet in front of home plate.
A lot of English on it, but she advances her slap sister, Natalie Peters, over to second base. Just one out in the inning. Another scoring opportunity for Kelly Christner. Took advantage in her last at bat.
Slap sister's got potential, I think.
I kind of like that one.
Christner 0 for 2 on the game today. First pitch, a slow breaking ball off the plate, low and away. My mistake. Christner is 1 for 2 as she hit a looping single into right field in her last at bat. An RBI single, as a matter of fact.
Yep. Put the rib in the pocket.
Now ahead in the count. Runner on second is Peters with 1 out. Fastball swung on and popped up shallow left field. Coming on and diving on her knees to make the catch as Maddie Nuccio. A lot of ground covered there and a nice defensive play to retire Kelly Christner.
That was a power slide right there. Right out of an 80s rock band concert.
Yeah, not full extension diving stuff, but...
No, that was on the knees. Like, all it was lacking was a point right back to the catcher.
And,
impressive stuff.
And a bodacious guitar riff.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's going to bring up Tara Blanco. 2 walks and 2 plate appearances so far today. The first pitch from Kat Morris, a breaking ball in there for a called strike. Steinmetz points back to her pitcher. She hit her spot there and is ahead in the count, 0-1. Blanco's last walk came after she had gotten down in the count 0-2. As patient as they come is Tara Blanco.
Still wants that first hit of the season.
The 0-1 fastball misses high and outside. Blanco is patient but potent. Packs a punch.
That's a lot of alliteration. I'm firing on all cylinders, really. We're finding our zone now, too.
The Wolverines with 5 runs on 10 hits. No errors on either side so far. Delaware, no runs on 2 hits. Morris winds the 1-1 pitch. Ground ball over to short. Fielded on a few hops by Gerhardt. She fires over to first and retires Tara Blanco. The first scoreless frame of the day for the Wolverines. Leaves them up 5-0 as we head to the top of the 5th. Here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. Once again, thank you to those of you who have tuned into this broadcast. We'll see if it's still Megan Betza coming out here for the 5th. She's thrown a fair amount of pitches. She's been.
You've got your eyes on game 1 of tomorrow for Megan Betza.
I do. I want her to be fully rested. Obviously, she and Carol Hutchins are far more attuned to what she is capable of than me up here, 100 feet from the field in the press box.
Well, if you're talking about getting prepped to take on a much bigger pitch count and a much bigger load in the rotation, this is the time to sort of test those waters early on in the season. See if you can give Megan Betza a full game today against Delaware, and then see, because obviously I think it's a unanimous decision that will be who the Wolverines throw out to face Florida tomorrow morning. See how she handles it.
I sure hope so. Betza is a very valuable commodity, perhaps the most valuable player on this team this year. Obviously, Tara Blanco is going to be making big contributions both in the circle and at the plate, is expected to lead this team on offense. Kelly Christner expected to return to her 2015 form. But the Wolverines are expecting such big things from Megan Betza this year. So you kind of have to treat her as such, but at the same time, she's not brittle. She's had some injuries, some struggles down the stretch over the past 2 seasons, but if she's ready to take on the role that I think that she's going to take on this season, I guess we should be prepared for her to go in whole hog.
Michigan is number 6 in the country in the coaches poll coming into this season, and she is a massive part of that number in front of the Michigan name. Other ranked teams in the tournament, Florida, number 4 in the country in that poll coming in, and the University of South Florida, the hosts, ranked 25th coming in. They won their first game of the tournament last night against the Illinois State Redbirds 5-4 in a walk-off win.
So leading things off for Delaware will be Maddie Nuccio, the slap hitter. Betza facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters in this Delaware lineup. Betza winds the first pitch, a half cut. Home plate up, Kevin Jack indicates that Nuccio did go around. It's strike 1 on a drop ball in the dirt. The count 0-1. The infield obviously in at the corners. The center fielder, Christner, shaded a couple steps toward that left field side. The outfield not at all tested today for the Wolverines. The 0-1 on its way. Half cut, fouled off the screen behind home plate. Betza went up in the zone, and Nuccio tried to meet it and barely did. That's a terrific line thus far. 4 innings pitched, 2 hits given up, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts.
Could you expect anything less from Michigan's ace?
The 0-2 on its way. Fastball misses high and outside. Nuccio draws cheers of encouragement from the Delaware bench.
And that's still just a good bait pitch right there in the 0-2 count to try and draw the poor swing and an easy strikeout. Instead, have to come back inside, try and earn it the hard way.
Betza gets set. The 1-2 on its way. Swing and a miss. Nuccio tardy on the offering from Betza. And that is number 9 for Megan Betza. She's a beauty, that number 9. That's going to bring up Emily Neal. Alex Subcheck announced as the batter over the PA. That obviously a mistake, as Subcheck is behind the plate for the Wolverines, currently looking at her wristband for the signal from the bench. Emily Neal 0-for-1 with a strikeout. The first pitch to her is a fastball that never got above the knees. It's low for ball 1.
Megan Betza still working it out in the circle, taking her time, definitely pacing herself as she continues to carve up this Blue Hens lineup like they were a good Thanksgiving turkey.
The 1-0 on its way. It's a drop ball that started low, stayed low, ducks into the dirt. Good eye from Neal to let it go by, and the count moves to 2-0 on Emily Neal.
Look for a good comeback pitch here from Megan Betza. Try and hit that zone hard.
Neal, the right fielder, the lefty hitter. Sleight of frame, also a slap hitter. Following up Nuccio, like follows like. The 2-0 fastball, and that one pounds the zone for a called strike 1. Above the knees and on the outer half.
On the corners, and Subcheck didn't even need to hold that one there for an extra beat. That was an immediate drawn call.
Yeah, Kevin Jack, the home plate ump, a little delayed with his calls, but you can just tell by the catcher reactions when a pitcher hits her spot. The 2-1 on its way, swing and a tapper. That one fouled off of the foot of Emily Neal. Betza fields and throws to first. The crowd applauds, but home plate up Kevin Jack had his arms up immediately, and it did look like she hit her foot with that one. No worse for wear, still sprinted down the line and didn't give any indication that she had fouled it off herself. But unfortunately for the Wolverines, that out is coming off the scoreboard.
Nope, and I think that's a good call. Would have been out at first had it not touched her, but the right decision made by Kevin Jack.
So the 2-2 on its way, swing and a miss. A drop ball started at her eyes, dropped down to the knees, and Neal swung about at her eyes. And that's the second out of the inning. Double-digit Ks for Megan Betza on the game. And this is exactly what you want to see against the bottom of the lineup. 2 Ks for Nuccio, 2 Ks for Emily Neal, and up steps Allie Davis, who struck out in her last at-bat. First pitch, fastball, called strike on the outside corner at the knees. And Megan Betza is looking superb here in the top of the fifth.
Dare I say it would be wrong to expect anything other than another strikeout here for Megan Betza.
Well, now you're getting a bit ahead of yourself.
Well,
JB.
maybe a little bit.
Averaging 2 per inning. A little more than that, actually. The 0-1 on its way, a fastball off the plate outside. Looked to hit nearly that same spot, maybe stretch the zone just a couple inches more. Kevin Jack not buying it. The count 1-1. Neal stands almost straight up in the back of the lefty batter's box, an open stance. Sorry, Davis does. This is Allie Davis at the plate. Takes a step forward, the 1-1. Breaking ball low for ball 2. Lindsay Montemarano down at third base. Crouches low. She hasn't gotten a lot of action today.
A little bored. It was an early wake-up this morning for the Wolverines. Looking for something to do here.
Not as early as ours. Had to get that free hotel breakfast.
Disappointing, to say the least, this morning.
The 2-1 pitch up and in, and it plunks Allie Davis on her front left arm. Hit her near the forearm.
She looks to be all right. She runs down to first base.
Yeah, looking spry, hustling down there.
Gives some daps to her first base coach. Possibly going to see a pinch runner here. Nope, looked like she was about to head back to the dugout, and I think we are going to see a pinch runner after all.
Yeah, that is the head coach, John Seneca, conferring with home plate umpire Kevin Jack, announcing the substitution.
Looks to be Morgan Schroll, senior from Little Silver, New Jersey, into pinch run here.
And that'll bring up the top of the order for the Blue Hens. It's Leanna Gerhardt. She's 1 for 1 on the day with a walk. Her single was a bunt that she was able to push by Montemarano and just outside the circle in her last at-bat. The first pitch from Betza. Breaking ball just misses off the plate away. The count 1-0 on Gerhardt. That one looked to be at that perfect spot at the knees. Couldn't quite find the zone, though. The count 1-0 on Gerhardt. A wide stance, her front right leg. Ramrod straight. The 1-0 pitch, a breaking ball. That one catches the outside corner a little higher in the zone for a called strike 1.
Good pitch by Betza there. Continuing to take her time. Not known for super fast deliveries between pitches, and it does her well to take her time and think it out.
1-1 the count. She winds and delivers to Gerhardt. It's a fastball that misses high for ball 2. And, you know, some pitchers, you will see them really vary their times to home plate so as to mess with the timings of the hitters. But, you know, with Betza,
it's all rhythm. Everything is rhythmic.
Yeah, it's kind of like a if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of thing. 2-1 the count. Betza steps back, delivers the 2-1 check swing, and she went too far. Home plate up, Kevin Jack up with the right hand. It was a breaking ball, a hard breaker that dipped low, and Gerhardt not equal to the task.
John Seneca down at third base. I saw the same thing that he did. It looked like Kevin Jack was going to appeal down to the first base umpire and decided not to and made the call on his own. And now John Seneca, the coach of the Blue Hens, is wondering why the first base umpire didn't make the call.
Well, you know, if anything, it would be an appeal to the second base ump, but I think that's just a bit of confusion, you know, being on the left or the right side of the batter's box as a lefty hitter, pointing toward Gerhardt as in, you know, yes, she went around. Also kind of looks like he's pointing down.
It looked to me like an appeal, so I understand the reaction from John Seneca.
Looked like a pretty obvious call. 2-2 the count, 2 outs. Runner on first. The pitch on its way, fastball misses high, and the count runs full on Leanna Gerhardt.
Anything that John Seneca can do to maybe better the position of his Blue Hens here with a runner on, 2 outs, just trying to do what he can to maybe get a runner on base. If that appeal down to first might have said, no, she did not go.
Gerhardt, a junior infielder out of Robbinsville, New Jersey, has now looked overmatched at the plate today. The 3-2 pitch breaking ball misses low for ball 4. And now there will be 2 on with 2 outs for the second hitter in this Blue Hens lineup, Giovanna Colifer.
Betza would really like to shut down Colifer here because Mariah Kondravi is looming in the on-deck circle.
Colifer walked in her first plate appearance. grounded out in her second. The righty third baseman, if she were to get a hit here, might be able to get Delaware off the schneid on the scoreboard, as the pinch runner from second base will be going on any contact. The first pitch to Colifer, a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike one. Pinpoint precision there from Megan Betza.
Trying to get out of this top of the fifth inning. Delaware is threatening with runners on first and second, down 5 runs, trying to make something happen at the plate now.
Infield straightaway, the outfield maybe a little deep given the situation. The 0-1 pitch, another fastball on the outside corner, another called strike from Megan Betza. And now she can toy with Giovanna Colifer. 2 strikeouts to the first 2 hitters she's faced in this inning. Betza has run into maybe a spot of trouble, looking to get out of it here. Gets the sign from Subcheck. The 0-2 on its way. Fastball just missed high and outside. About the same spot horizontally. Tried to lift that one about chest high. And to Colifer's credit, she checked at it but did not offer. 1-2 now the count. Betza gets the sign from Subcheck. Rocks back and delivers. Swing and a foul ball. Almost hit Kondravi in the on-deck circle. Just fisted off the hands of Colifer, fighting that one off, looking for a better one to square up and drive home a run.
Kondravi laughed that one off. Did a good job of dancing out of the way. The dangers of that on-deck circle being very close in proximity to your hitters.
Betza again gets the sign. Colifer awaits. The 1-2 on its way. Swing and a miss. Betza blew her away with the high heat. Strikeout number 11 on the day for Michigan's ace, Megan Betza. And we head to the bottom of the 5th. Delaware still scoreless. Michigan 5 runs. They lead here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball.
Thought it might stop at 10, but little Spinal Tap reference. This one goes to 11.
Yeah, and it might go even higher than that, Jeremy. I think Betza's still going to have something left in the tank as Take Me Out to the Ball Game plays on the speakers here at USF Softball Stadium. It's still Kat Morris out in the circle for the Blue Hens. Seems to have settled down a bit after seemingly being very close to getting pulled in the 3-run second inning for the Wolverines. What do you make of her performance so far, Jeremy?
Well, Kat Morris, being a true freshman, this is her first real start for the Delaware Blue Hens. Hasn't really done a terrible job. Most of her pitches have been relatively on target. I think the score line right now is just a product of the fact that she's facing one of the best teams in the country in the Michigan Wolverines. And as inexperience might dictate, made a few mistakes, left a few balls over the plate, and the Wolverines were able to tee up on her and bring 5 runs across. But I mean, some of it also comes from her fielders. You talk about the double steal that scored a run. That was just poor base awareness, poor on-field awareness from her defense. And I don't think all of the blame lies on Kat Morris. It looks like she's performed pretty well. It'll be interesting to see how she does for Delaware if she has any other outings over the course of the weekend. But as we said, true freshman is really looking to join Jordan Cargill as the back end of the rotation for the Delaware Blue Hens. Cargill, the only really returning pitcher with much experience in the circle. And Morris has done well so far today, I would say, given the circumstances.
Hayden Falk leading things off for the Wolverines. She'll be followed by Subcheck and Montemurano. The first pitch from Kat Morris misses way off the plate outside for ball 1. Steinmetz out of her crouch to grab that one.
Worth noting, 2 runs would end the game for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the 5th, 7 runs through 5.
It's 8 runs through 5, Jeremy.
Is it 8?
Yeah, have you forgotten the
7.
rules in the offseason?
Oh, my goodness.
Falk swings and rockets one over to Kondravi, who reaches and snags it. Falk absolutely tattooed that one, but right at Maria Kondravi down at first base.
Well, saved by Falk's heavy hit. My mental slip there. You are right.
I know I'm right.
Not sure what I was thinking there.
The cold up here finally getting to you. You know, it's hard to complain about.
It is windy up here. It's the West Florida sunshine, or so we thought. Getting a cool breeze across our polos and shorts.
First pitch to Alex Subcheck, a hard breaker, misses off the plate away for ball 1. Subcheck on the game, 1 for 2, singled in her last plate appearance. Flied out to right, back in the second inning. Monty and Courtney Richardson following her in the order. The 1-0 pitch, a breaking ball. Kat Morris took something off that one and found something on the edge of the zone for a called strike one.
Subcheck 1 for 2 on the day, trying to up that average here early in the season.
Subcheck a low crouch, slightly open stance. Weight on her back foot, awaits the 1-1 pitch. Ugly swing at a breaking ball down and out of the zone away. Morris pulled the string there and is now ahead in the count 1-2.
Wolverines can't fall asleep here at the plate. Still need to continue to put pressure on the Blue Hens. They are up 5 runs.
The 1-2 fastball just misses high for ball 2 to Subcheck. Looked like she was looking for something down in the zone. Almost, crouched over a bit as though to spoil a pitch down there, and Morris changed the eye level, almost got a called strike 3. Instead, it stands at 2-2. Nobody on, 1 out for Subcheck. She awaits the pitch, swinging a pop-up behind the infield. That one's going to get into shallow right fielder. Emily Neal calls off Delaware and makes the catch for the second out of the inning.
2 quick outs is exactly what Morris needed in the circle for Delaware. Just had in the last half inning that she pitched the bottom of the 4th, the first square on the scoreboard that was left clean for the Wolverines. Starting to build a little bit of confidence, I would say, Morris in the circle against this torrid offense.
Lindsay Montemurano looking to shatter that confidence. She is 0 for 2 on the day so far. The first pitch, fastball misses just a bit high from Kat Morris.
The instigator of many a 2-out rally for the Wolverines, Lindsay Montemurano. Known to get on base in these situations and then somehow just fuel the team to a continuous rally. We'll try and do the exact same here.
The 1-0, swing and a fly ball, right center field. Steiner, the center fielder, drifting over, will make the catch in the right center field gap. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the Michigan Wolverines in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the top of the 6th. The Wolverines still lead 5-0 here in sunny South Florida, West Florida, I guess, but we're at South Florida Softball Stadium.
I am so proud of the Spinal Tap reference. Got picked up by the Michigan Softball Twitter account with GIF included.
Oh, you call it GIF?
I'm a GIF guy. It's not just a peanut butter.
Apparently it's I don't know what GIF stands for. I call it GIF usually just because, a GI, it's kind of like, it's got to be a hard G. I know the official pronunciation, I think, is GIF.
I think the creator says it's GIF. I'm not positive. I'm a GIF guy, though.
Well, that's another thing that people can interact with us on Twitter.
We put up a poll tonight.
We have many intense debates through WCBN Sports. The
more famed ones is a hot dog, a sandwich, the greater film, Rocky IV, or any other film ever made. It's Rocky IV.
Well, yeah, I disagree with you on both measures. You didn't really let your opinion out on the whole hot dog sandwich thing, but it's definitely a sandwich.
It is not.
Moving back, Betsa in the circle for her 6th inning of work. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 11 strikeouts so far. Her defense has been solid enough behind her, but she really has not needed it.
Appreciate, again, all of you tuning in across the country on WCBNsports.org and the YouTube channel, WCBN Sports. As always, feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Then you'll know whenever we call games. We'll do just about every Michigan softball game this season with, I believe, the exception of the Judy Garman and the Mary Nutter out in California over spring break. Those should be the only games that we do miss.
Hopefully someone else picks those up.
Well, Leo might be home out in California. We could see about that.
We will see about that. Maria Kondravi, the number 3 hitter in the lineup, leading things off for the Delaware Blue Hens here in the top of the 6th inning. Rocket into right field for a hit in her last at-bat. Knocked the drop ball off her shoestrings and reached base. The first pitch from Betsa, a fastball at the knees for a called strike 1. Good location there. And really that strikeout of Giovanna Colifer in the last inning was key because Betsa got to avoid facing Kondravi with any runners on base.
The best Kondravi is a Kondravi without base runners.
Betsa winds, delivers. Fastball misses high and outside. The count even at 1-1. The infield shaded back, but I'd say that in general, Michigan's infielders tend to avoid getting back onto the grass all the way. They'd rather get a ball to go by them, air on that side than air on the side of letting an infield hit fall in front of them. 1-1 the count. Betza Wines delivers. Fastball again. Misses high and outside. Subcheck yells a couple words of encouragement back at her hurler. The count now 2-1 on Maria Kondravi. Betza steps off, steps back on. Working a little quicker now with no one on base. No pressure on the senior righty. The 2-1 pitch, breaking ball, ducks down and inside on Kondravi. She lets it go by. 3-1. Kondravi hasn't had to lift the bat off her shoulder yet.
Not the best spot to beat Kondravi. Again, the pressure isn't really all that on. A walk wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, so Megan Betza can maybe toe the lines of the zone a little bit more liberally.
Kondravi a wide, relaxed, powerful stance. Tilts the bat backward. Awaits the 3-1 pitch. Fastball. Missed off the plate away for ball 4. That one had some extra juice on it from Megan Betza, but the location not quite where she wanted it. It's a leadoff walk for Maria Kondravi, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Anna Steinmetz. 0 for 2 today. Lined out to Canfield in her last plate appearance. Struck out in her first at-bat.
As we mentioned, a team captain, Steinmetz, this is a kind of situation where, as a team leader, good opportunity to step up down 5 runs. No outs in the inning, trying to put a little production together.
Betza Wines delivers. The first pitch is a drop ball. She left it up in the zone, but it ducked under the eager bat of Anna Steinmetz for strike 1. The count 0-1. The infield at double play depth for the Wolverines. Looking for a hard grounder at either Ramirez or Canfield here, one would think. The 0-1 on its way. Fastball misses off the plate away. Heading into that lefty batter's box for ball 1. The count even at 1-1. The wind picking up again, blowing out toward right field. Outfield straightaway on Steinmetz. The infield perhaps shifted over toward the right ever so slightly up the middle. Montemurano off the line at third. The 1-1 on its way. Fastball in under the hands on the inside corner for a called strike 2.
Megan Betza continues to work efficiently and effectively. A strikeout here is great. A ground ball could potentially produce the first double play of the season for the Wolverines, but Steinmetz has not made a lot of contact so far.
1-2 the count. Betza Wines delivers, swinging a foul back to the screen. The count remains 1-2. She fought off a hard fastball low and away.
It was well located. And a good job to protect the plate with 2 strikes against her name.
Betza gets the sign, takes her time, now rocks back and delivers. The 1-2 pitch swing and a ground ball off the fists of Steinmetz down the third base line. Montemurano picks it up about 5 steps, follow the bag, and flips it back to her pitcher.
Doing a very good job of keeping guard over that plate. Trying to give anything away here, making Megan Betza earn her outs.
She really is hovering over that inside corner, not allowing Betza to have the inside part of the plate. We'll see if she'll go there anyway. The 1-2 again on its way, swinging a pop-up over to short, gloved by Abby Ramirez. Hit basically right at her. It's the second infield line drive, if you could call it that, from Anna Steinmetz. Neither had a lot on them, and that's the first out of the inning for the Wolverines.
Little looper, and as you said, Ramirez and Canfield both shaded deep in the inner infield.
That's going to bring up Devin Steiner, the righty center fielder out of Wilmington, Delaware. First pitch on its way. Drop ball, swing and a miss. Steiner expecting the heat, not getting it. Behind in the count, 0-1.
Having such a wide variety of pitches to offer is such a boon for Megan Betza in terms of the ways that she can confuse opposing hitters, and we've seen it all afternoon. Just another example on top of a long existing list already.
The 0-1 fastball misses way high for ball 1. And, it's not just that she has the pitches at her disposal. It's that they are plus pitches, to use a little scouting jargon, with plus command. And, you can fall over yourself praising Megan Betza every time she's out there.
And we do. We absolutely do.
She's just so good. 1-1 the count. Kondravi down at first base. The pitch on its way. Rocket through the hole on the left side for a base hit. It's a single. Condravy over to second. Solid contact there. A pitch low in the zone, but to her credit, Steiner still able to barrel that one up. And maybe another spot of bother for Betza. She's getting closer to the bottom of the lineup, against which she has excelled today. Alicia Delatorre at the plate, struck out in her first 2 plate appearances. However, Steiner also had 2 strikeouts on the day, but the third time up got a little better look against Michigan's senior ace. So Betza, no stranger to base runners in this game today. We will see a pinch runner for Steiner down at first base. It appears to be number 13, Cheney Jones, a sophomore out of Dover, Delaware. I haven't done a ton of research into this Blue Hens team, but it seems that a lot of them are homegrown.
Something you'll see again in the second game of the day for the Wolverines against Illinois State, too. Don't really poach a lot of talent out of those softball-heavy states like California.
Betza winds the first pitch, a fastball called strike on the inside corner, just above the knees to Alicia Delatorre. She looked back at the home plate umpire, Kevin Jack, a little displeased with the call, but obviously, can't really voice that too vehemently. Monty, several steps in on the third base side, wary of a sac bunt. Don't know if this would be the best occasion for it. The 0-1 pitch, another hard fastball fouled back to the screen. Betza quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 on Alicia Delatorre.
Strikeout would work wonders for the case here with Megan Betza. Trying to put away this Blue Hens mini rally.
Delatorre, a righty, a little bit more off the plate. The 0-2 on its way, swinging a pop-up foul. That one's going to land on the roof over us and roll off the stair rail.
And it's right behind us.
And a small child in a Michigan hoodie will grab that one.
I wonder if they let you keep souvenirs here. They do not in Ann Arbor, much to my chagrin.
I wonder if they know where that ball went. 0-2 the count.
They should hide that. Hide that right in the sweatshirt pocket and don't let anybody get it.
The 0-2 fastball misses just off the plate outside. Betza very close to a strikeout looking. Betza has worked herself in and out of a couple spots of bother today. As of yet, the scoreboard remains unblemished on that Blue Hens line. Delatorre trying to put an end to it. The 1-2 on its way. Swing and a miss. It's a dozen for Megan Betza. You Betza. 4 outs away from completing the shutout, but she's still got plenty of work to do. It'll be Maddie Nuccio at the plate now for the Blue Hens.
I think that was an appropriate time to pull out the You Betza. I know we used to use it a lot more, and yes, it has gotten a little played out, but good usage right there. I'll applaud you for that.
Ideally, I would save it for the end of the inning, but I can't take for granted. I kind of can, but I can't really take for granted that she's going to end the inning with a strikeout or end the game with a strikeout or something like that. You got to take the opportunities while you can. Strike while the iron's hot. And the metaphorical iron of Megan Betza is pretty hot out there in the circle today. So Maddie Nuccio, the lefty slap hitter at the plate, 0-2 with 2 strikeouts today. She's got 2 on and 2 outs. The Blue Hens' chances slowly dwindling away. They've got to get a hit here. The first pitch, fastball, called strike at the knees on the outer edge.
Trying to get back into that cruise control mode is Megan Betza, that strikeout. Giving her a little bit more juice in the arm, a little bit more pep in the step as she comes to the rubber.
Betza comes set as the wind picks up behind us. The 0-1 fastball, called strike, outside corner, hammering the zone against Nuccio.
Nuccio trying to avoid the trifecta of Ks on the day, struck out in her first 2 at-bats. Meanwhile, Megan Betza trying to go for her 13th.
Betza comes set, gets the sign from Subcheck. Rocks back, winds, delivers the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. It's a baker's dozen for Megan Betza. And we head into the bottom of the 6th, 5-0, the Wolverines lead.
Stole it from me. I was going to go back to the old Saturday Night Live with the Bills and the Bulls. How many that's for you? Well, that'd be about a baker's dozen. That's a good Saturday Night Live skit right there.
Not too familiar.
That's famous. That's back in the Jordan days.
Well, I guess I'm a bit uncultured.
Mike Ditka. Great broadcaster.
I'm sure. Kat Morris still out there in the circle, really sprinted out there for the Delaware Blue Hens.
She's excited to get back to work against this lineup. She's been putting in work these last couple. I don't think we've given her enough credit for really settling in. The fourth and the fifth clean innings for Morris.
I got to say, her last name, though, that's about as good as it gets.
Yeah. Morris has also settled in. The broadcaster, Morris.
It's still really freaking cold up here, JP. I'm pretty miserable.
It is 68 degrees right now in Temple Terrace, Florida.
In a T-shirt and shorts with a stiff wind at our backs.
You have come from 15 degrees in Ann Arbor, and it was snowing yesterday when we left. I am enjoying every second of this.
I'll be dead before I stop complaining, Jeremy. Courtney Richardson will lead things off for the Wolverines. The not very often used righty sophomore playing left field today. We didn't really know what to expect out of her on the game, but thus far she really has come through 2 for 2 with 2 singles, looking to maybe make it a perfect cap to the day. The infield playing deep against the righty Richardson. The first pitch from Morris, a fastball misses high for ball 1.
And now Morris offered the run rule explanation in the bottom of the 6th.
So at any point after 5 innings, if the home team or some team is winning by 8 or more runs, the game is called. It's basically a mercy rule. The 1-0 pitch inside. Thought it might have nicked the jersey of Richardson, actually. She backed out of the way. Instead, it's just a ball 2.
Didn't make a case for it, so not too hard fought.
Well, I think she wants to hit.
I wouldn't be surprised with the way she's been playing today. 2 singles and an RBI.
The 2-0 swinging a ground ball up the middle, past a diving Delaware and into center field. It's a 3 for 3 day for Courtney Richardson.
Courtney Richardson is living like we wish we were living. 3 for 3 on the day now. A pocket full of singles and a rib. Starts the Wolverines off here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
She came to play.
Indeed she did.
She is fighting for that consistent starting spot, and she keeps hitting and getting on base. It's going to be hard to deny her that spot.
Batting 1,000.
Faith Canfield 1 for 2 today, takes the first pitch, an off-speed one, in under the hands on the inside corner for a called strike 1. That one just above the knees. Canfield behind in the count, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, another off-speed one. That one clocking in at a steady 51 miles an hour in the dirt. Misses for ball 1.
Just floats its way in there.
I'm not too familiar with Courtney Richardson's prowess on the base paths. As an outfielder, you expect she at least has some speed. I'm not sure how willing Hutch will be to send her. This is a situation that would be get it. Canfield rips the 1-1 pitch into the gap all the way to the wall in left center field. Richardson rounding third. She will score. Canfield cruises into second with a double. She found a fastball up in the zone and got all of it.
Hey, what, Morris? That middle section of the Wolverines lineup towards the bottom has really been strong today. You go top to bottom, Falk, Subcheck, Monty, Richardson, Canfield, especially those bottom 2. You talk about an 8-9 combo, not expected to be the biggest bats on a team.
They're 5 for 6.
5 for 6 with a pair of RBIs.
That's going to bring up Natalie Peters. She has also shown in her, not really a debut, but her debut in the starting lineup.
Debut at the top of the order.
For sure, she's 2 for 3. The first pitch from Morris. Fastball misses maybe a bit high there on the outer edge. The count 1-0 now on Peters. The infield in. Canfield on second base with no outs. The Wolverines 2 runs away from getting out of here an inning early, although they will stay here for the second game of the day. The 1-0 swinging a slow roller right to second base, off the foot of Delaware and into center field. Peters takes the turn at first, cruises into second. Canfield will score. It is a single. I don't think she's going to get the RBI. It's going to go down to an error on Delaware because it did bounce off of her foot, depending on how it's scored. Either way, it's a 3 for 4 day for Natalie Peters, and the sophomores getting it done today for the Wolverines.
A little bit of second-year power for this Wolverines lineup. And as you mentioned, now just one run away from the win. Some brief conversation. We might see some changes around here. Might see a pinch hitter for the Wolverines.
That's going to be Taylor Swearingen.
Long hair a swinging coming to the batter's box, number 23. Going to see a little action here.
Swearingen, a righty, really competed hard with Lindsey Montemarano for that third base spot a couple of years ago, showed prodigious power, and was a player that Carol Hutchins really went out of her way to praise heading into this season. She clearly has the talent, struggled with strikeouts, struggled with the batting average last year as Lindsey Montemarano asserted her place in the lineup. Not only are we going to see a pinch hitter, but we're going to see a new pitcher.
And the good part about the pitching change, Jordan Cargill, we actually have more than a sample size, or in the case of Morris, no stats at all in her collegiate career. So in terms of Cargill, was really the third wheel to that rotation last season. Only pitched a limited number of innings, in total just 45 and a third. She had a 4.32 ERA in 22 appearances last season. Opponents were hitting 323 against her, so she got shelled a little bit. And now she's being asked to come in and be the leader in that rotation alongside of Morris with a little bit more experience. Junior out of Baltimore, Maryland, going to try and keep the Wolverines from ending this one earlier than they would like for it to.
Cargill, a righty, just like Kat Morris. A little more experience, maybe a little bit shorter, a little smaller frame when delivering to the plate. Crouches low, delivers the first pitch, a breaking ball that misses low. She's got a lot less going on into her delivery. It's really short, direct into the plate.
It's a little bit of quick twinkle toe fancy footwork there. If you watch those feet in the motion, they move pretty quick, kick around a little bit on that release.
1-0 the count, the pitch on its way, swinging a pop-up into left field. Settling under that and making the easy catches, Maddie Nuccio. The game-ending run in Natalie Peters remains on second base. Kelly Christner will get a chance to drive her home.
One pitch and one out. Not too bad there for Cargill to open it up.
Well, she missed with the first pitch.
Or two pitches.
2 pitches, 1 out. Still a pretty good pace.
Yeah.
Christner 1 for 3 on the day. First pitch fastball misses high for ball 1.
I was eyeing out in the field on that first pitch to see if there were any other defensive changes that we missed, but everybody is still in position other than the circle.
Christner crouches low, rests the bat on her left shoulder. The 1-0 pitch, a drop ball, ducked out of the zone, but Christner fell for it. 1-1 now the count. Christner, an RBI single back in the second inning. A pop-up and a fly-out. Sandwich that single on her day so far. The 1-1 pitch, fastball, misses high, a bit outside. It looks like Cargill has maybe a bit less on her fastball than Kat Morris, but it's not that big of a difference. And it'll certainly be a different look for Christner, who has faced the same pitcher for her first 3 at-bats. The 2-1 on its way, a slow breaking ball.
Just 48 miles an hour on the gun there with the loop in.
Yeah, it looked like it got its way all the way below the strike zone as the Delaware fans applauded what they thought was going to be a called strike 2. Instead, the count 3-1 on Kelly Christner. Cargill winds, delivers fastball fouled right back off the screen. That looked like it was making a beeline toward the railing in front of us. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you see it, we've got plenty of protective netting.
Cargill was the pitcher in both of Delaware's fall games in which they beat Rutgers.
The 3-2 pitch swung on and fouled again. It's going to roll up the screen and rest on top of the press box. Don't think they're going to be getting that ball back.
Delaware beat the Big Ten opponent Scarlet Knights by scores of 13-1 and 8-6. Back in their most recent action, those were the last of their fall games prior to today.
The 3-2 pitch, a breaking ball, misses just low for ball 4. Kelly Christner, a bolder person than I, taking that one for a 1-out walk. Her status on first base is entirely inconsequential, although now it means that a Blanco walk will push the game-ending run over to third. Tara Blanco at the plate, 0 for 1 with 2 walks. The breaking ball is swung on. hit hard into center field, but Steiner shades a couple steps over, makes the catch, tagging and running over to third is Natalie Peters. So the fly ball will move the runner over. Now Peters just 60 feet away from ending this one prematurely.
Aiden Falk going to have the opportunity to bring her home.
Falk has swung the bat well today, 1 for 3, but her last plate appearance was a line drive down to Condravy at first base that caught Condravy more than Condravy caught the ball. 2 outs, runners at the corners for the designated player, Aiden Falk. Cargill looking to give her team one last shot against Megan Betza. The first pitch up and in almost hit Aiden Falk as she backs out of the way.
And if they're using the same time frame as I'm used to, the minute this game ends, it then starts a 38-minute clock to the start of the next game, so enough time to clean off the field and do warm-ups.
The 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball that misses low for ball 2.
So at this point, we're already slated to start just slightly after that 2 o'clock scheduled time for the Illinois State game.
The infield shaded back against the lefty Falk. Crouched on her back foot. The 2-0 pitch, hard ground ball, gloved by Condravy. She bobbles it, but picks it up and steps on the bag at first. And we will see a 7th inning, at least half of one. The Wolverines tally 2, can't get the run rule. They lead 7-0 heading into the top half of the 7th inning here on WCBN FM Ann Arbor's broadcast of Michigan softball. Thank you for those of you who have tuned in.
Not too bad for a season debut in the booth so far, Morris. I think it's been pretty solid. Right now, the Wolverines out hitting the Blue Hens 13-3, and beating them in the score tally 7-0. Michigan looking, barring catastrophe, to be en route to their first win of the new year. Team 40 trying to pick up where Team 39 left off in Oklahoma City last year.
And just a reminder, we will be moving to a new link for our next broadcast. It'll still be broadcasting at WCBNsports.org, which is where you can find all of our recent broadcasts, all of our blog posts, pretty much everything associated with us. But there will be a new YouTube link to our broadcast of the Wolverines game against Illinois State. This broadcast will end when the game is over, so be sure to make that switch. We'll be keeping everybody updated on Twitter, tweeting out links. And
the most sure way to find it is to follow WCBN Sports at WCBN Sports on Twitter. Those always do get retweeted by the Michigan softball account, but if you really want to be sure.
I'm laughing, hold on, because Megan Betza in her warm-up just bounced a pitch almost directly on the ground below her. It trickled about 3 feet in front of her, and she picked it up and went back to the circle. But go on.
Well, you couldn't say it's been too long of a day for Megan Betza, but she has been out there working hard, looking to go deep into this 7th inning, if not finish this game outright.
Yeah, and we also would like to issue a thanks to the good people who run the UMich softball Twitter account, as they have done a great job of getting people informed both about the changed start times and informed of how to follow this team today. Without them, we would be broadcasting basically for ourselves and a couple of our closest friends, and now we're broadcasting to so many more close friends. At least that's how I see it.
We hope you join the family.
So leading things off will be the lefty Emily Neal, number 8 in the Delaware lineup. She is 0 for 2 today with 2 strikeouts. Megan Betza still in the circle, looking to finish this one out herself. Betza rocks back. The first pitch to Neal. Fastball misses off the plate away for ball 1. Neal, a slap hitter, draws both the infield and outfield in. And this bottom of the lineup has been pretty clueless against Betza so far, with the exception of Allie Davis, who is on deck. Neal, a perfect bunt down the first baseline, barehanded by Falk, fires to first and got her by a half step. That is a very fine defensive play by Aiden Falk. Knew the barehand was the only way to go. Canfield darted over to first base as soon as she saw Falk charging in. And they get the first out of the inning.
First base coach Rachel Coleman had the safe sign going as her runner crossed the bag, but to no avail.
And it will be a pinch hitter for the Delaware Blue Hens. Instead of Ellie Davis, we will see Dana Variello, a freshman infielder out of Jackson, New Jersey. Variello, a lefty, experiencing a bit of a trial by fire. Her first college softball at bat will be against one of the best pitchers in the country who has appeared totally on form today.
Well, you could say the pressure is somewhat off in a way.
Yeah, the expectations are pretty low. Variello with a wide stance stands near the front of the batter's box, awaits the first pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses low for ball one.
Trying to take up as much space as she can on that inside part of the plate, trying to limit what Megan Betza can get in there. But it's still a strike even if it's close to her, as long as it crosses over that plate.
Betza comes set, 1-0 the count. Rocks back, winds, and delivers the 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Variello cuts through the fastball, about belt high, look to split the zone. The count now 1-1. Infield and outfield shaded straight away. Variello moves farther up in the batter's box, an interesting approach. The 1-1. Fastball misses high, looking to spot that at the belt on the outside corner. The count moves to 2-1.
Still a little bit of room to play with those eye levels and maybe work it around on the corners. Variello just trying to make some contact.
Delaware only 3 hits on the game, 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and tapped foul down the first base line. Variello out in front but rolled over on that hard fastball from Betts on the outside half.
Delaware's next matchup will be tonight against the USF Bulls at 7 p.m.
That's not one I plan on staying for, Jeremy.
We'll be at Chili's by that point. Been looking forward to this Chili's run all trip.
The 2-2 pitch fastball just misses off the plate, off the outer half. Betts nearly doubled over in disbelief. The count moves full on Dana Variello.
Well, she'll just have to come back with a pitch that's that much better to beat the eye of Kevin Jack.
God, we've gone so corporate that we're advertising Chili's without a sponsorship deal in place.
That's not corporate, that's love.
6 of 1, half dozen of the other as Betza records her 14th strikeout of the game. Fastball on the outer edge, looked to be a called strike 3 if Variello, didn't offer at it, but it's the kind of pitch that there was nothing she could do with it.
Got one for each day of the week, half the month of February, barring a leap year. 14 Ks in the column for Megan Betza, an auspicious start to this campaign.
There's a lot of caveats in your little number thing. A breaking ball, the first pitch to Leanna Gerhardt, spins inside and hits her on the top of the helmet as Gerhardt ducked out of the way. She's fine, laughing it off. That's why they wear the helmets. And she has reached base all 4 plate appearances this game. One of the few bright spots for the Blue Hens today.
Captain has to do captain things, and she definitely has. I'm still just blown away by innings ago that bunt on an 0-2 count.
It was a 1-1 count, if I recall correctly, but either way, it was surprising. That'll bring up Giovanna Colifer. The first pitch, a fastball called strike, belt high on the outer half. And, I think they are doing live stats for this games, but fortunately, there's no one who's going to look back and, call us out on that one.
Yeah, there's probably somebody somewhere.
Well, if there's somebody somewhere, they're probably listening. The 0-1 pitch up and in, ricocheted off the bat of Colifer and back to the screen. She made a check swing at it. And, it almost hit her, but just hit very low on that bat. The count now moves to 0-2.
Wind really picking up again, still just blowing from left to right pretty hard as the American flag out in right field waves.
Betza 1 strike away. She winds, she delivers. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a foul, back to the screen. Fastball on the outer edge, and Colifer just got a piece of it with the end of the bat.
Scoreboard has it at 1-2.
Kevin Jack actually turned around and told the press box that the count was 0-2.
Yep, now they're fixing it.
Everybody on the field and up in this quote-unquote booth had it right. It was just the scoreboard that had it wrong. The 0-2 pitch yet again from Betza. Fastball misses off the plate inside. Colifer backed out of the way. It was a close pitch.
Now it's 1-2.
Now it is 1-2. Gerhardt, the runner at first base, 1 stolen base attempt on the day. She was gunned down back in the first inning by Alex Subcheck.
Colifer, the last lifeline here.
Betsa winds. The 1-2 on its way. Swinging a tapper foul. Bounced in front of home plate before spinning back to the backstop. Colifer fighting for dear life for her team here in this one.
One more swing and a miss would be the cherry on top for a fantastic debut for Megan Betsa so far here this afternoon. You'd imagine imagine she gets the rest in the next game. Be back at it tomorrow.
Betsa comes set, gets the sign. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses high. There goes Betsa again. She's danced all around the strike zone here in this at-bat, and now Alex Subcheck coming out to confer with her. Maybe settle her down, get her to maybe not go for that strikeout, but just go for the out in the end of the game.
Subcheck knows the one pitch that's going to end it, and she just shared it with her.
Well, I don't get why she wouldn't have shared that a couple pitches ago. Maybe just to build the suspense.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Infield straightaway, the outfield straightaway. 2-2 the count. 2 outs. Runner on first base is Gerhardt. The pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Down goes Colifer and down go the Blue Hens. Megan Betsa, a sterling complete game shutout. 7 innings, 15 strikeouts, only 3 hits against her. And that's how you start a season, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Michigan rose to the task to start the tournament here against the Delaware Blue Hens, top to bottom, hitting at the plate. Megan Betsa firing on all cylinders in the circle. Michigan cruising en route to a 7-0 victory to open the 2017 campaign in Team 40. Feeling good after game 1.
So we'll be going live with the next game in about a half hour or so. Stay tuned.
We'll have the official start time on the Twitter account at WCBN Sports as soon as we're made aware of that.
Yep, we will have the YouTube video up and running too, so you can find it on our YouTube channel. You can find it on Twitter. You can find it wherever you find these things. Just stay tuned, and we will be back shortly. Thank you, though, to those of you who have tuned into our broadcast of this game.
Good afternoon, and go Blue.